Mushtari strove with red Merrick, which should be master of the night. But where is Mushtari? Where Merrick? When in the sky the sun doth shine. Now El Kahar to Hatzif gives the worship unto poets due. But songs are not music all what poet music may define. Allah's the atheist, he owns no Allah. Sneer thou dullard churl, the Sufi worships naught but drinks, being himself the all divine. Come, my Habib, the roses blush, the waters gleam, the bulbul sings, to pierce thy codex al-Qahar's urgent and imminent design. That's called the atheist.
What do you understand about that?
It's about Sufi mystic interpretation, or Islamic Sufism, Muslim Sufis. Okay, I'm going to read you one more. This is called... Hold on a second.
Just tell me. What do you understand? Why?
Okay, I'm going to record this. This is called The Hermit by Crowley. An attack on barbercraft dedicated to George Cecil Jones. At last, an end of all I hoped and feared, muttered the hermit through his elfin beard. Then what art thou? The evil whispered word. I doubt me sorely if the hermit heard. To all God's questions never a word he said, but simply shook his venerable head. God sent all plagues, left and heeded not, till people certified him insane. But somehow all his fellow lunatics, began to imitate his silly tricks, silly tics. And stranger still, their prospects so enlarged that one by one the patients were discharged. God asked him by what right he interfered. He only laughed, and into his elfin beard. When God revealed himself to mortal prayer, he gave a fatal opening to Voltaire. Oh, Hermie had dispensed with Sinai's thunder, but on the other hand he made no blunder. He knew no doubt that any axiom would furnish bricks to build some donkeydom. But all who urged that hermit to confess caught the infection of his happiness. I, would it were my fate to dree his weird, I think that I will grow an elfin beard. Okay, we'll read one more. This is called The Mantra Yoga by Aleister Crowley. How should I seek to make a song for thee, when all my music is to moan thy name? A long, sad monotone, the same, matching the mute, insatiable sea that throbs with life's bewitching agony. Too long to measure and too fierce to tame, and hurtful joy, a fascinating shame, is this great ache that grips the heart of me. Even as a cancer, so this passion gnaws, weigh my soul and will not ease its jaws till I am dead. Then let me die. Who knows but that this corpse committed to the earth may be the occasion of some happier birth? Spring's earliest snowdrop, summer's latest rose. Thou knowest what has prefixed its lethal tune in the white breast that trembled like a flower. Thy name whispered, thou hast marked how hour by hour poison hath dissolved flame, and skill to agonize, have skill to swoon, his passion in a lap, his power slave to its single end to storm the tower that holdeth thee, art authentic truth. Eye. Behold how the grave creeps upon the shuddering moon. Still I will strive, and thou mayst swift on the dead from thine all-seeing steep, and the unutterable word by spoken. Okay, that was called the mantra yoga by one more. This is called Quest. A part, immutable, unseen, being before itself had been, became like dew, a triple queen, shone as the void uncovered. The silence of deep height was drawn, a veil across the silvered dawn, on holy wings that hovered. The music of three thoughts became the beauty. There is one white flame, the justice that surpasses shame, the victory, the splendor, the sacred fountain that is whirled from depths beyond that old world, a new world to engender. The kingdom is extended, night dwells, and I contemplate the sight that is not seen. What light that secretly is kindled, though oft times its most holy fire lacks oil, when near my own desire before desire has dwindled. See the thin web binding me with 13 cords of unity toward the calm center of the sea. O thou supernal mother, the triple light my path divides to twain and 50 sudden sides, each perfect as each other. Now backwards, inwards still my mind must track the intangible and blind, and seeking shall securely find, hidden in secret places, fresh feasts for every soul that strives, new life for many mystic lives, and strange new forms and faces. My mind still searches and attains by many days and many pains to that which is and was and reigns, shadowed in foreign land, and loses self in sacred lands, and cries and quickens and understands beyond the first amen. Okay, this is the last one. I think I read this yesterday. Oh, this is a long one. I'm not going to read all this. The last verse of The Wizard Way is, hush, my child, and come aloft where the stars of velvet soft. Okay, this is the second to last paragraph. It says, ah, my proper lips are stilled. Only all the world is filled with the echo that drips over like the honey from the clover. Passion, penitence, and pain seek the mother's womb again, and are born the triple pleasure, peace and purity and pleasure. Hush, my child, and come aloft where the stars are velvet soft. That's called The Wizard Way by Crowley. Buddha, how long is this one? Oh, this is a good one to read. Okay, this will be the final. I'm gonna make this one a separate.
We don't thank you. You have effeminized the fire, police, and schools. DEI is dead. Your policies and your attitude either change or you're going to be recalled and voted out of leadership. The city is destroyed. The power of 10 big bombs have gone off. You are a failure. What up, Magus? Ooh, we have a Magus here.
Magus Persicus. How are you, Adrian?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay, buddy. I'm okay. I just come across some shocking news, but apparently for some people it's not even news.
What?
Did you know that United Nations has sex rings going on with children?
I didn't know about with the children, but I knew that there's a lot of sex going on at the United Nations.
No, what I mean is that they exploit children to sexual acts, sickening acts. Like through all the charity organizations and so on. And whenever someone's gone to speak about it, they've completely shut them up. There's this new United Nations Watch have recently released this, or associated with it. There was a whistleblower. I'm trying to send you the link.
Did a crow just go off in the background?
Yeah, I'm in the woods.
Wow.
And I think it could have been a raven.
Wow.
Adrian, do you know where the word magic, where all this astrology, divination, all that, where do they come from? Originate from?
Probably.
Because it recently come to.
It's as old as time itself, like the Egyptians and modern neo-paganism. It incorporates ancient Egyptology, but it also depends on what kind of.
Does it have some roots that of more primeval origins of Egypt as well? But the word magic. Do you know where it originates from?
France.
No.
Persia.
Do you know what Zoroastrianism is?
Oh yeah, I do.
So do you know what the priests or the clerics of the Zoroastrian religion are called? For singular, for one person, it's called a magus, like my name. And for plural, more than one, it's called magi.
Right.
M-A-G-I.
Right. Do you know how to say it?
Stories about the three wise men.
Yeah. Do you know how to say it in Spanish?
No. Go ahead.
El mago. I have
El mago. What about magi?
Yeah, that's plural. It's the three wise men. That is.
Yeah. So the three wise men. They were originally as the term wise men were connected, wise and men.
Yeah.
Stuck together as a one word. Originally referred to the magi of the Zoroastrian religion.
Yeah.
All this practice of the fire, water, earth, air, divination and so on. It's
Well,
interesting when you think about it.
yeah, but you know what I think it is from like an agnostic lens? I think it's hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming for therapeutic uh, purposes, for fun also. But I think it's really all about trying to like deeply relax you and charge you or prime you for some type of action, whatever desire or goal you have. I don't think that it's gonna like change anything other than your your time or your attitude. I mean,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you look at the world history, until the 7th century, the world was one way, and the 7th century onwards, it completely reshapes, it resets.
Mhm.
Until the 7th century, you had the Magi, you had, the different religions, the Manichaeism, Mithraism, and so on. And the 7th century onwards, the rise of Christian crusades and Islamic jihads. Until then, there was no such thing as religious, domination. So what I'm saying is that, where the Magi were wise men of a religion long diminished by history's conquest, and they held wisdom by which only select few of it has been passed down.
Well, it's all been passed down. It's all in the libraries. I have 1,000 books. You know, it's all out there. There's no more secrets. It's just lazy people. That's it. That's why I created this room to read some of it. Because you know, it's you
Yeah,
got
I actually write poetry as well. I would love to share some with you.
yeah,
Because
for sure.
I'm a writer myself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So.
Yeah, this
so
is
that
this
okay
is
for
a
you? What do you want now?
yeah, this is a reading room, so we take turns. Go ahead, or I can go first.
Whichever suits you best. It's your room, but if
Go
you want to
ahead.
go first.
No, I don't just create the
You
room
sure?
for myself. Yeah, I don't want to do the room unless I have other people involved.
Of course. All right, mate. So I've called this Nox, which means night in Latin. One midsummer, once awoken from crow's cackles, since unspoken, I chanced on a subconscious token as I wandered shaded halls. There, uncertain charm yet creeping, came a whisper which lured, seeping like moth to moon, where a mirror, some decades, veiled dim old walls. First frozen, soundless glancing, I summoned will, soon advancing one question with might and motive to unearth wonders within. Then began my nameless sin. Time-worn mirror down my hall, when will freedom come for all? But the mirror, black and grim, festooned in a floral trim, gave no vision nor recall, just mere shadows, dark and dim. Soon discouraged and hence leaving, this is madness, I cried, cleaving each and every hope within me which had lured me here till now. When a solemn voice in murmurs made me suspend anxious seconds, for a maiden bid me beckons. Ye have summoned me, she called.
However,
Once more frozen, I
heaven
grew
and
bolder,
earth
and in
are
response I
sent
resolved
infinitely
with a
apart.
phrased question, as drawn closer to the mirror who so soon shone. There amid clouds, two men standing, one sword flying, another's landing, over an old sphere-shaped world. One where each man did what told. One man's banner tinted blue, another's crimson in its hue. And I pondered who was who, as more questions did soon ensue. For I saw swords evolve shape across walls where none escaped, and a blood-red clouded ball bloomed a mushroom before all, and we were all dead. Tears soon welled in swelled up eyes, and with many unanswered whys I begged reason in loud cries. You show harsh truths and no lies. You show humankind despise, kill each other and demise, but I've not shown what gives rise. And as winds breeze in slow ahead, men come, kill, and go, she said. When crows cackles and each yearning symphonize with a deep down burning, clenching my sad soul within me, hurling senses away and all. Furious I clasped this dark mirror, and across a window I heaved her, to smash in a myriad pieces, each shard now one divided truth. But the murder of crows, lurking, spying, crying, cheerfully chirping, sweeping down each clasped one piece, as I witnessed, mind uneased. Till all shattered, broken shards vanish with those nocturnal bards, whose so senseless escapade has since on my mind played. Now I cannot summon will, none to thrill my heart, nor fill this void on my naked wall, where no mirror stands to it. Just a shadow who now lurks in sinister cries or smirks, one who does not bear a face, nor gives answers I can trace, while I embrace what past was, where no ends shadow our walls. Thank you, listen. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, it was very good. You wrote that yourself?
Yeah, I submitted to a competition as well. I
Wow.
haven't heard back yet though.
It rhymes, huh?
Yeah, I like rhymes and I like meters.
Oh, I
I like
see.
Poe, Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, wow. How do you like do the rhyming scheme? Do you see it in numbers and then you follow some kind of pattern? How do you do it?
I sense it. It's like music.
Right.
It's like, for example, think about any song that you like that really gets you moving. Think about its beats. Da 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 da. For example, AAAB, BBBC. For example, that sort of rhyming scheme. So you go like you can kind of change it around.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I done one which roughly went as: some ambitious, superstitious, somewhat vicious man, down a hillock in his ill luck, rolled down to his clan. Captured, he soon raptured as he pondered on a plan to masquerade and hence evade captors as he ran. Such auspicious man whose name was Elder Julian. So I like rhyming like that. But the problem with me is I been going a little bit kind of like mono rhyme, like just sticking to it one, maximum two if I really push it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to play around with that.
Okay, so the guy that I'm gonna read to you is an occultist. His name is Aleister Crowley, and he does all rhyming, and it's like this is all pre-Chat GPT, so I'm just like, people were really smart.
You know what it is? We live in an era called post-structuralism.
Mm-hmm.
So since 1950s, 60s, they came about this new movement in literature where, it's beyond structure, it's the death of the author. Up until then, it was about rhyme, it was about meter, it was about context, it was about, different kind of allusions and so on. It was also about the author, the biography. Who are they? Charles Dickens, William Wordsworth, whoever. You had to understand who they were. But after that, it became the death of the author. It's no longer about what the author meant. It's about what the reader perceives it to be.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, you can ask two people for their opinion on something and get two totally different answers based on what they listen to, because in many ways, when you listen to something new, you project your own attitudes onto the piece in many ways. And if you would listen to it like an analysis, like I've listened to people analyzing Rumi, and like from an academic perspective, and you're just like, wow, like I could never have analyzed it or understood it that way. But that's one specific example. Anyways, the point of these.
Rumi's name was Rumi.
Huh?
Do you know why Rumi's name was Rumi?
I always thought because Rumi is like a room in a house, and it's what you're filling it up.
It's Persian. The name comes from Persian, and it's R-U, not R-O-O.
Isn't it R-U-M-I?
Yeah, Rumi. It's Persian. It's a Persian word, because I'm Iranian myself, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I speak Persian as well. But basically...
I speak Farsi too.
Rumi means... You do?
Dilam barat. Kheli shode.
Oh, God, Adrian, mate. Come on. Please don't do that.
I'm going to read to you a poem now about Fessin, June. It's a joke. You got to have a sense of humor, man. The whole thing is comedy and fun. If it's not fun, it's never going to work. Fun is.
All right, but just know that Rumi's name means a Roman. Like, from someone from Rome.
What?
Rumi's name in Persian means Roman.
Oh, really?
Because Rome existed until 15th century, where is today known as Turkey. Until 15th century, there was no Turkey. There was Rome.
Interesting. Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, like if you look at it, the Ottomans invaded Turkey like Istanbul. It was originally called Constantinople. Constantine was the third had founded it in the 3rd century or 4th century, and he moved his capital from Rome to Constantinople to be close to his enemies strategically. But until 1453, the fall of Constantinople by the Ottoman invaders, that place was Rome, and Rumi in Persian means Roman, someone who's from Rome.
Did you know that the Romans utilized Persian mathematics, and I want to say the word algorithm comes out of Farsi or Persian, and but the Romans utilized Persian mathematics for engineering purposes, and so there was the transfer of information between, I guess, the Persian Empire, the Roman Empire, but certain words of very complicated nature come out of um, the Persians. So it's just so amazing, how stupid we are. And because I was reading have you ever read Marcus Aurelius?
Meditations, brilliant, yes.
Yeah, when you read that and you know that that's 2,000 years ago, and he's talking about the most advanced science and psychological therapeutic methodologies like ever. So the thing is, like, we're raising everybody here off of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and unfortunately, like, I mean, the standard should be Da Vinci. The standard should be Marcus Aurelius. The standard should be Rumi. All of our children, the education system is literally just cultural and social indoctrination. Like, they're not really reading anything very advanced.
Do you know about World Economic Forum? Have I told you about that before?
Yeah, I know. I know people who are very very scared of the WEF.
Well, I mean, you should be. I mean, I should be, because like they control everything. Like whether it be your phones, all of the members of all the global corporations, everything are all members of it. The high CEOs.
I know.
And mate, can I show you something, buddy? Quite sickening.
I mean, let's wait. Let's wait. Let's just do the poetry work. I'm here for therapy.
Go on, let's do that.
But I know what you're talking about. I got a guy that I used to work with before I got fired. He said we have to be very careful of the WEF. Like, the WEF is gonna fucking destroy us. And he's,
He already is, mate.
Well, in America, I think there's still some autonomy from WEF, but like, if you live in Europe, that it's like they are the government because their policies, and not only that, but the way that they take people in and the way that they secretly take people in, and then you don't know about it until they publish it on their website, and you're like, that motherfucker is a WEF, and you're always like, fuck, how have they gotten to everybody? Everybody who gets into power is a WEF agent, so it's like, anyways, just say something brief about it, and then I'm going to read some poetry.
So yeah. Go ahead, but no, it's fine. I was going to ask you, well, how do someone like me, who is not in alignment with their policies and quite upset with them, how does he, write and get successful and get recognized if, they all own all the industries and they won't cancel you? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, is you have to be very creative to manipulate the algorithm, and poetry is probably the greatest weapon of the pen ever invented, because in poetry you can get away with saying whatever you want, and it's a form of hypnosis, but the population isn't really interested in it. They're mostly interested in fantasy CGI. And so if you could do a combination of subversive poetry, it would be like, that's what all poets do. Poets become political because it's very subversive. Like, if the government is a socialist fascist organization, then the poet takes up the pen and declares that love is the ultimate form of government. So, like, you have to basically be creative, subversive, and you can overcome any type of program that they put out, I think, through poetry.
Adrian, do you know what it is?
Hmm.
You know, like for the last year and a half, since Israel monarchy and all the war that's been going on in the region and it's been spreading. I'm Iranian. I know that for example, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, they're all proxies,
Mm-hmm.
proxy groups founded and funded by Iran and Iran's regime. Basically, Iran's regime has around 60 to 80 in places you would not even imagine. In Venezuela, in East Asia, in India, in South Africa, in Africa, in South Africa as well, the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Sudan, all the shit that's been going on in Somalia, in Yemen, in Israel and the Gaza region and so on, the Levant in general, it is all a big game because if you look at it, this regime has one agenda. First of all, it is the only Shiite government, Shiite nation in the world. This is how it was founded. After they toppled 2,500 years of Persian monarchy. Look at Iran before 1979. It was like the difference between black and white, as in how good it was. But what I'm saying to you is that this regime, when it first came to power, they became, obviously, they're a full-on dictator. They're murderers. They're rapists. They're torturers. And what they do is they, I forgot what I was going to head with the whole conversation. But what I'm telling you is that what they have is, they are while they have all these proxies across the world who does their bidding, because what they want to do is they want to turn the world into a Shiite version of Islam. You know how you got the majority Sunnis, Sunni Muslims. So they want to impose Shiaism, and that's the only reason they want to take over Jerusalem, because it's the third most holy city in Islam. And you have to understand, while this regime has all these proxies across the world, the regime itself is a direct proxy of Russia. Not many people know this, but the Ayatollahs, the supreme leaders, the first and the second piece of shit who's dying now, and he's trying to bring his son to power. Anyway, they were both trained by the KGB in the 1970s and 60s, late 60s and 70s. You have to understand, these guys are agents. They're global players. They're global pawns, chess pieces. It's one of those, my friend.
Well, one way to look at it is that they're bullshit artists and that it's just political. And they know that it's all political, that they know that their fantasy of Shiaism is more political than it is religious. You've been there. You know that many people are just very pragmatic and common sense, but they also have the inverse attitude that the world is a terrorist and that they are the liberators. Do you agree with that sentiment that like everyone has the position?
I agree that they believe they do because, like, think about it: Hitler, Stalin, all the murderers of our history. None of them thought they were murderers. They thought they were doing the world a favor. They thought they were bringing good about. That's what I'm saying. These people are under delusion.
Well, yes, they're under a delusion. But we are also under a delusion of conflict and war. But it just can't be ignored, unfortunately. After you study enough, you realize that preparing for war, studying for war, engaging in war, though is a despicable activity, it is a category that has to be fulfilled. Otherwise, you will suffer the consequences. That's my opinion. I believe in peace, but I believe also in jujitsu. You have to be able to fight and win. And I think America, is that juggernaut and Trump is that juggernaut. And he is very strategic and very smart and very experienced. So I would just be very optimistic and positive about 2025 because, everybody's focused on the dopamine effect, but they don't see Trump is the magus. Actually, every president is a magus. There is a ritual that they do in the White House, and they resurrect the president. I don't know if you know about this, but somebody who is in the military told me this, that they actually do like a Freemasonic resurrection ritual every single time a new president comes in. I don't know if it's real or
Yes.
not. It could just be the inauguration, but supposedly there's like a phoenix ceremony that they do, you know, which is like a historical thing. And then there's like a letter in the Oval Office in the desk that's like hundreds of years old that, you know, like permanently in the desk. So America has its mysticism, just like Zoroaster, and in fact, it's all of DC. You know, is all Freemasonic and Egyptian examples of deity. So I don't know. I would just be positive and optimistic. And you know, these Khomeinis, these Ayatollahs, like uh, they're pretty much just going to dissolve. Eventually, some young leader will come in and you know, de-escalate the country or de-radicalize, you know, the country. I don't think that there will be an actual like regime change
No,
there.
the country doesn't need to be radicalized. You need to understand that Iranians are some of the most anti-Islamic people in the world. Like, whether people like it or not, it's the truth. What the regime has done is it's made people sick.
I know, but I'm talking
It's
about
made
the
people
IRGC
angry.
in particular because they're the ones with all the
Oh yeah, listen
franchises.
to this, Adrian. You know what's going to happen tomorrow?
Mm.
Tomorrow, the regime is going to use a branch of the IRGC called the Basij to go around parading in 110,000 number across Tehran and the greater Tehran to like scare people to not revolt.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they do. I mean, it's part of their job. That's what soldiers do. It's called um, it's a show of force. The British did it in India when they were facing revolts. They would throw huge parades and shows of force, and the population would get hypnotized and mesmerized. So they've been doing that to the population there ever since the revolution. But, anyways, let us continue on this path of poetry. I'm gonna read to you. Um, let's see which one I'm gonna read to you. This comes from the Book of the Law. This is Aleister Crowley. Um, there's so many good ones. This is called. You tell me what it's about. It's called Lambskin. Cowan, skidoo, tile. Swear to have it all. This is the mystery. Life. Mind is the traitor. Slay mind. Let the corpse of mind lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death. This is the mystery. Tile, Cowan, skidoo. The commentary says this chapter will be readily intelligible to E.A. Freemasons and it cannot be explained to others. That's called lambskin. Lambskin is like
I like it, bro. I like it.
yeah, lambskin is like a condom, but also again it says mind is the traitor, slay mind, which is like an ego death. Let the corpse of your mind lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death is the great mystery. And then it says Tile Kawanskidu. So it's like, you know, for countless generations, you've been getting reborn through sex magic, through reproduction. Okay, this is called the Luby. Only Lubies find excellence in these words. It is thinkable that A is not A. To reverse this is but to revert to the normal. Yet by forcing the brain to accept propositions of which one set is absurdity, the other truism, a new function of brain is established. Vague and mysterious and all indefinite are the contents of this new consciousness, yet they are somehow vital. By use they become luminous. Unreason becomes experience. This lifts the leaden-footed soul to the experience of that, of which reason is the blasphemy. But without that experience, these words are the lies of a luby. Yet a luby to thee, and a booby to me, a Balacius ruby to God, maybe. This is the commentary. The word luby occurs in folklore, and was supposed to be the author at the time of the writing of the book, which he did when he was far from any standard works of reference, to connote partly booby, partly lout, It would thus be a similar word to Parsifal. Chapters 2 through 6 explain the method that was given in chapters 11 and 31. This method, however, occurs throughout the book on numerous occasions, and even in the chapter itself, it is employed in the last paragraphs. Okay, this is the last one from this book I'm going to read. It's called the Hymog, or the Hemog. A red rose absorbs all colors but red. Red is therefore the one color that it is not. This law, reason, time, space, all limitation, blinds us to truth. All that we know of man, nature, God is just that which they are not. It is that which they throw off as repugnant. The Hemog is only visible in so far as he is imperfect. Then are they all glorious who seem not to be glorious. As the Hemog is all glorious within, it may be so. How then distinguish the inglorious and perfect Hemog from the inglorious man of earth? Distinguish not, but thyself extinguish. Hymog art thou, and Hymog shalt thou be. Note, Hemog is a notaricon of the words holy illuminated man of God. Part 1 is, of course, a well-known scientific fact. In paragraph 2, it is suggested analogically that all thinkable things are similarly blinds for the unthinkable reality. Classing in this manner all things as illusions, the question arises as to the distinguishing between illusions. How are we to tell whether a wholly illuminated man of God is really so, since we can see nothing of him but his imperfections? It may be yonder beggar is a king. But these considerations are not to trouble such mind as the Chela may possess. Let him occupy himself rather with the task of getting rid of his personality. This, and not criticism of his holy guru, should be the occupation of his days and nights. That's called the Hemog. Okay, that's 3 chapters or 3 verses from the Book of Lies by Aleister Crowley. Okay, you want to read anything else? Mr. Magus? It's a show of force. The British did it in India when they were facing revolts. They would throw huge parades and shows of force, and the population would get hit. Okay, everybody, this is Adrian Dittman. Hope you enjoyed my morning poetry reading class. They've been doing that to the population ever since the revolution. But anyways, let us continue on this path of poetry. I'm gonna read to you. Um, let's see which one I'm gonna read to you. This comes from the Book of the Law. This is Aleister Crowley. There's so many good ones. This is called. You tell me what it's about. It's called Lambskin. Cowan, skidoo, tile, swear to hell it all. This is the mystery. Life. Mind is the traitor. Slay mind. Let the corpse of mind lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death. This is the mystery. Tile, Cowan, skidoo. Commentary says this chapter will be readily intelligible to EA Freemasons and it cannot be explained to others. It's called lambskin. Lambskin is like lambskin is like a condom, but also again it says mind is the traitor, slay mind, which is like an ego death. Let the corpse of your mind lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death is the great mystery. And then it says Tile Kawanski, so it's like, for countless generations, you've been getting reborn through sex magic, through reproduction. Okay, this is called the Luby. Only Lubies find excellence in these words. It is thinkable that A is not A. To reverse this is but to revert to the normal. Yet by forcing the brain to accept propositions of which one set is absurdity, the other truism, a new function of brain is established, vague and mysterious and all indefinite are the contents of this new consciousness, yet they are somehow vital. By use they become luminous. Unreason becomes experience. This lifts the leaden-footed soul to the experience of that, of which reason is the blasphemy. But without that experience, these words are the lies of a luby. Yet a luby to thee, and a booby to me, a Balacius ruby to God, maybe.
I'm not skeptical about reality. I don't know where that statement came from.
Like, for example, do you guys accept that I can have a metaphysically coherent explanation of reality that includes God, and that should be sufficient for me to show that there? Yeah.
I reject metaphysics because to me it's not coherent. Like I'm still waiting for a rational explanation for why I should accept metaphysics to begin with.
Yeah, you've undermined the word explanation by modifying it with metaphysical, right?
Can you make an example of some metaphysical statement?
Metaphysics is just the meta of physics. You're just explaining, like, you're trying to figure out like how to account for what we observe, right?
Yeah, but they're just so silly. They're not falsifying
No.
stories.
I would love to hear a coherent explanation of metaphysics that includes God. That would be wonderful. Please go ahead.
That includes God from my perspective, like using metaphysics.
I don't want your perspective. I want the abstract explanation of metaphysics that includes God. That was your statement, and I'm sticking to that.
Okay, isn't it just word physics?
So, well, that's a good, I mean, metaphysics is just asking the question, what is real, right? That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out. I would say it's the science of ontologies, right? Like the essences of things or the natures of things.
I wouldn't accept that definition, though.
Okay, then we can work with one that you would accept.
Right. I would say that metaphysics is the meta of physics. It's discussing the unprovable aspect of physics. So I think that the best reason to accept any metaphysical position is it feels good, seems right, looks okay, that type of thing. So it'd just be like an intuitionist position.
Okay.
But can't you put metaphysics into poetry? Would you accept the poems as being metaphysics, or would you just accept the poems as being poems?
All of the religious texts are poetic. That Adrian is the same meaning because they're all poetic and carry variable meanings to one word. But
So
again,
consistency.
metaphysics does not explain reality. Science explains reality. Physics, chemistry explain reality. Metaphysics is what deals with the beyond anything where the laws of physics apply.
Wait, you think science fully? You think science fully explains reality? Fully,
It has
everything.
not done it yet altogether, but we're on the way.
Science is not even the business of trying to answer abstract questions. It's not even. It's literally a category error.
Yeah, I mean, science is just in the business of reducing error due to subjectivity. That's it. It's not like magical or anything.
Well, can you have a magical experience without metaphysics?
I mean, there are people that have experiences and then they attribute them to being magical, right? But what that means is completely dependent on what they mean by magical, I guess.
I know, but what do you mean by trying to say, listen, can't you all just agree in what Shakespeare said, words, that silence is faster than words, and that what we're doing here is a word debate game, and if you want to be specific, I could make a demonstration of poetry or metaphysics combined in the statement that all communication is hypnosis.
Yeah, I'm not playing this game with you today, dude. Your esoteric jargon is not really going to be...
Can't you just laugh, Shawnita? Do you have to be so serious all the time? I mean, what are you trying to figure out? You can't have any fun? You can't have any word fun?
Just because you have only seen me in a serious mode doesn't mean that I'm not serious on occasion, right?
I'm just saying, all communication is hypnosis. Like, is that such a horrific statement to make? I didn't call for the,
it's just esoteric jargon bullshit. So it's okay.
Got it.
Okay, let's move on. I would like to now address something that was said in the past. And by morbid, on the miracles. Does anyone think that a miracle contradicts anything in reality?
You have to define
miracle.
Define miracle.
The miracles of Jesus Christ in the New Testament.
Splitting the sea, like Moses splitting the sea. Let's keep it on something simple.
That's an example, not a definition.
Does splitting the sea contradict anything?
No. Like, you could just take a fan and blow it in, and that would split the seas, right? So it's not a contradiction per se. What you're not doing is identifying the method by which the seas were split.
Well, why can't you just view the miracles as being metaphors for psychological, axioms?
Sure. Thanks, Dittman. So you're not defining what a miracle is. So please do that.
I told you what it is. Like, I gave you an example.
You gave an example, you didn't give a definition. You gave a definition.
Yeah, so I don't need to give a definition.
You do, because
I already gave an example.
Here comes the babbling apes. The chaos has begun!
I said, like Moses.
Oh my God! You're a fucking idiot! You're a fucking idiot!
He exploded!
Therefore, it's a miracle.
That type of ad hominem attack, Carlotta, is inappropriate. Please contain yourself.
I don't give a fuck about you, Dickman. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Maybe you should care about yourself more and not be so explosive.
Well, when
Calm
someone
down,
can't
calm
give a definition, they're nonsensical. They're not even
Let's calm
rational.
down.
No, you
No
bring
problem.
it out. You can't give a fucking definition.
Man, I don't know why I'm standing here.
Man, I don't know why
I'm letting it go. I want to see where
Let
this
it go, bro.
leads. I want to see where this
Please, no racist impersonations,
You
Carlotta.
don't understand what a miracle is, JCC?
No, I want a definition.
No, I don't.
I want a definition.
Okay, you don't understand. Okay.
No, I need a
Miracle
definition.
is an action performed in this world.
That's not a definition.
Oh, life is so much fun.
Because it's just saying what caused a miracle.
No, I'm saying what a miracle is. It's an action that is caused.
God.
by
How is
God
that?
in-
How is that a definition?
God, how's that not a definition? I defined what it is.
You mean the fictional character?
You see, now you are leading down the rabbit hole of nothingness, right? T? You
No,
believe
I'm
that
asking
you
you a
think
question.
from nothing, and
No,
you're
I'm
going
asking
into
you a
nothing.
question.
This ludicrousy.
No, I'm just asking you a question.
This is the ludicrousy of
I'm
atheism.
just asking you
But
a
I'm
question.
glad at least you agreed there are no contradictions with miracles.
I
And
didn't
then
say.
what did you
I
also
said that.
understand?
Yeah, I said that there's no
Did you
logical
hear your atheist
contradictions.
buddy
There's
agree
no,
that there's no
but
contradiction,
then if you
Morbid?
come up with like, you know,
I
a
want to
different
ask
set of
Morbid. Give me a minute.
circumstances, there might be some physical contradiction, right? The contradiction might look something like, you know, the sea splitting without a force splitting it. That would be
Sure,
a contradiction, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, no problem. So, Morbid, did you hear your friends, your atheist buddies, agree that miracles are not contradictions?
Okay, I have right, but I have a question for you, since without the tempers and everything. Let's keep it calm. I mean, why would God want to use a miracle, to verify His existence, which He knows, because He knows everything already? That would lead us to this disagreement that we are all in. I mean, couldn't that God find any better way to demonstrate His existence without referring to tools or means or methods that would leave us all in disagreement? Can't you find that logical sense?
So now you're asking, why did God do it in one way and not the other way, right? God does what He wants.
No, I'm not
right?
saying
He
one way or the
justifies
other way.
God.
I
Let me
was just
finish
saying
the answer.
the miraculous performance. The miraculous
Yeah, let me finish the answer, Morbid. Please do. Yes. When we say that God did these miracles, right, He did them for different reasons according to His own will and His own desire. He does whatever He wants. You're telling me, why did He do this and not that? Why didn't He reveal the Quran 4 years before it was revealed? Why didn't He reveal it at night instead of the afternoon? Now, all of these questions are God's wisdom. Why He chose one thing over the other. To do one thing and over the other. This is what He wants. You're saying, now you added the point, He knows where you're going to end up. That is regardless of the points. How is that relevant to Him choosing one thing over the other?
It is. All right. Okay. In modern philosophy, we have a branch called philosophy of meaning. One of the leaders in this branch is called Rudolf Carnap. Rudolf Carnap said, and many other philosophers as well, said that there are meanings to the words that carry an understanding or convey an understanding to the listeners. Some of the words that we use are meaningless. Like, for example, the word thing. When I say, give me that thing, you will tell me, what is that thing? Is it blue? Is it
What happened to my
transparent? Is it
video here?
plastic? Is it a female? What is it? A thing does not describe anything, right? Again, on the same explaining or the same explanation or level of understanding, we can add the word wisdom. Wisdom can be seen as something very good for one listener and completely irrelevant to another one. Thus, we cannot use the word wisdom, especially in the case of explaining God's deeds. Because when you say God did something because of His wisdom, I can easily replace the word wisdom with the letter X, which represents thing. Thus, what you are telling me, God did His own miracles because of X. Then you have not explained anything to me or told me what is that wisdom. In fact, It is just a way for you to cover your non-understanding of God's action. And you just want to keep telling me that there's a wisdom that I am not able to understand, yet you claim that you have understood it, but I've tried with philosophy to explain to you that your understanding of the word wisdom, what we meant in Arabic, means nothing. It carries no meaning. Thank you.
Well, I mean, no words actually possess meaning. Like, we're just using these arbitrary sound symbols and gestures to convey what we mean. But I do want to address what you said. You said that there's like, thing has no like coherent definition. I would just reject that. I use the word thing all the time, and I'm always referring to like some spatio-temporal property or set of properties when I'm utilizing the word thing. So, yeah, I reject your outright on that. So.
This comes from the
I mean,
book of the laws.
yes, what Shanito just said. Let's go.
So more bits.
Somebody could say,
Sorry. Okay.
No, go ahead.
this is called,
So more bits
you
in
tell
your
me what it's
definition.
about. It's called
So
lambskin.
everything you've just said.
Come on,
There's
skidoo,
nothing.
Kyle.
Yeah, who's no meaning.
Swear to
That's
hell
what
at
I'm trying to
all.
say.
This is the mystery.
Yes, that is correct. Correct. The words do not possess meaning. What happens is that you have an understanding of what you mean by the words that you hear and the words that you say, but the words themselves do not contain meaning, right? Like you and I agree that we have a shared understanding because of our referential basis. Like when I say apple, you have. When I say the word apple, you think about this probably the same thing that I do, because I would agree that I've seen what I'm referring to as an apple, and I've seen other people eat the things that they're referring to as an apple. So we have a shared understanding based on a referential basis, right?
Okay, when I tell
But
you
not all words have that referential basis, and that's kind of where the problem lies. It seems to be that there's a lot of words that are just entirely subjective or inherently abstract, and it's just up to each individual to.
Well, thanks for stating the obvious, Shawnito. I mean, there's no deep understanding there. What's your point?
The word wisdom in Sense's answer is under that, I can use your explanation, Shawnito, to say that the word wisdom in that context means nothing. When you tell me it's God's wisdom or God's X or God's thing, how can you differentiate between the three? I'm supposed to learn something from the wisdom.
And since you're also skibbity to listen to Kesai,
About things that he had gone through in his life, there is a wisdom that I'm supposed to learn. If I don't learn from that wisdom or that experiment, then it's not a wisdom. It's a thing that I cannot explain or understand. But when you tell me that I cannot understand God's action because I cannot understand God's action, then that's not a wisdom. That's still trying to use another word to fill in the blank where it's supposed to be filled with another word other than wisdom. Yet you use the word wisdom to explain the thing that you don't understand with a word that you don't understand the meaning of. Can you see how deep the problem is?
Okay, so
Well, I'm not
I
a
just want
theist,
to ask
so.
a question. So when science can't explain something, what do you term it?
When science can't explain something, it tells you I can't explain it and I need more time to verify it. It's so humble
Okay,
and honest.
okay, so
It's so easy.
okay, let me give an example now.
Please.
The antimatter. Can you explain it to me?
The what?
An antimatter, like antimatter.
Okay,
Yeah, explain it to me.
I cannot explain it to you.
It's just the opposite of matter. What is so complicated?
But the word exists.
Well, I don't understand why you're asking a bunch of people that are not like formally educated on this matter. Like, why aren't you going to like the educated,
Okay, give me a
academic
few.
journals?
Let me
or whatever,
Google
and
that for you,
publishing
actually.
something in an
Let me ask
academic journal like that.
ChatGPT.
Okay, give me a
Yeah,
field. What field do you feel comfortable with?
What food do I eat? Is that what you asked me?
Field of study. What field of study are you very comfortable with?
Oh, what field of study? Well, I'm not formally educated on any field of study.
How about we just not, do the questions and try to demonstrate by experimentation?
You know what? I never went
but I'm in the music industry. If you can make it like a musical thing, maybe I have some expertise there.
Okay.
You know.
So, what do you in the music scene now? What do you mean by love songs or blues?
What do I mean by them?
Yeah, define blues.
Is there an esoteric principle or some type of point you have with your questioning? None of your business?
Yes,
Go ahead, just tell us your point. Get to
My point
it.
is this. Okay, all right. I'll drop my point.
Some songs
You're
usually about.
You're asking for a certain kind of.
Do you guys really want an answer? Was that a rhetorical question, or are you just like?
Yeah. It was. I was trying to draw and trying to.
Nice job there, Roy. That's right on. It was rhetorical. Congratulations.
No, it's
Hey,
not
Dad, why don't you
rhetorical.
shut the fuck up?
I was trying to draw two parallels because you were trying to ask like for someone to give you a distinct explanation for what miracles are, and there are other things that science has words for. They can't give like a definite parallel. So it will be like it's kind of like wrong for you to be asking this when a principle that you believe also has that error in it too. So you can't be asking someone to define miracle the way you want it to be defined when there are things that like exist that we have like studies on that we can't even define them properly. So that's just my point. Like on the miracle, the whole miracle thing, he gave you a definition of miracle. Okay, this is God's work, and you're asking him for something that you can be comfortable with, which is very wrong. So if he says, okay, this is like God's hand in this thing, that is his definition. Whatever God's hand comes into, that's a miracle.
No, but that
for
doesn't
example,
define
now-
a miracle. No, that doesn't define it though. Because the real simple definition of a miracle is something that is unexplainable, right? So then if someone's gonna,
Yes.
this thing is unexplainable, right? And then they say what it is.
Okay.
Right? And then if we can explain it and how it happened, it is now no longer a miracle. So do you agree with
Yes.
my Are you with me that a miracle is something that is considered unexplainable?
Natural.
Yes.
Natural.
Okay,
That's
great.
the basic
Why
definition.
natural?
Okay, great. Okay, great. So
Why
now,
natural?
okay, great. So now, give me a miracle that you think actually occurred.
Okay, so like in the Bible now, the splitting of this, someone give that example, like the splitting of the sea in the Bible. It's
You
a
actually
miracle because
Yeah.
how did that happen?
You actually think that really happened according to the Bible?
That's
Why
why
is that
it's a miracle.
evidence
You
for
can't
God?
explain it. Can you refute that it happened? Can you refute it?
Not only do we don't have to do that. Why is it evidence for God? It could be evidence for aliens that split seas.
Well, it could be evidence that a human being can split the sea with tools and devices,
Okay.
right? So
There could have been an earthquake. You guys don't know. You weren't there. You're in a clown house room stroking your egos.
What? So why?
So why
Yes,
we saying it's
this-
got a miracle?
Why do
So
we?
this is
not-
why
why
this is
do
why
we-
this is
Why do we, the
This is
non-believer, why do we, the non-believer, have to give a demonstration it did not occur when if you, the believer, believe it did occur, demonstrate how it did occur and how do you know it occurred?
okay. So this
Nobody's
is it
trying
here.
to prove the miracle occurred, right? We're saying the miracle do not contradict reality, and they do
No,
not contradict.
well, it is contradictory.
Be quiet, JPC, be quiet, man.
Be quiet,
I
man.
mean,
Be quiet.
we're saying, dumbass. What a dumbass. Listen,
What
we're saying it doesn't contradict reality.
No, it does not.
Nobody said you have to believe. What does it contradict? What does it contradict?
It does not
Go ahead.
comport. It does not
Go ahead.
comport. It does. If you're saying something's unexplainable, right? So first of all, you have to represent what you're claiming to be a miracle, right?
Where's the contradiction?
Okay, first of all, you didn't give me a miracle, dumb fuck.
Where's the contradiction, dumbass?
Where's the fucking miracle, asshole? Man, I don't have a miracle to contradict.
What is
So,
dumbass? What the
no,
fuck
hey,
are
hey, dumbass, senseless. Where's what?
This guy is cussing all over the room. Filthy potty mouth.
Oh, that's so much better. Thank you.
No worries.
You know, I just gotta. Can I just say something in defense of Carletta there? Because Carletta, she's got great points, and I think it's maybe racist for you to mute her, even though she's very angry and using profanity. I think Carletta is a very well-educated linguist, atheist, and we should spend more time listening to Carletta's opinions so we can all gain a deeper sense of understanding of ourselves and the universe. Thank you. I am complete.
Why are you referring?
Really gonna happen.
referring to Carletta as a woman.
You've never been pronoun corrected by Carletta?
Wait a minute. Carletta identifies as a woman?
Yes, you'll have to bring Carletta back up to confirm. My memory's a little
Well, this is
hazy.
news to me. I've known Carletta for a very long time.
Johnito, have you never been in a room with Republican before?
No, I have. I just, you know, I'm making it well aware. Yeah, I'm just making it well aware for everybody else that isn't familiar.
Isn't
with him.
Carletta a woman? I thought
Ridiculous
that vulgar person who was screaming and using racist, remarks against Sense was a woman.
Chicago. Oh my God, you people are such garbage over there.
Sorry, Sense, for bringing that up. I am complete.
All right. So currently, Morbid is ran out of arguments, right? He was only preaching that miracles are fallacies.
You can watch me torture an entire city!
It's been 2-3 hours in any theology. An atheist cannot demonstrate how atheism is even possible. So I don't know why you guys like feel. You guys like say this. Like,
The roast, the great roast of atheists in 2024.
Is that it?
No.
Wait, do you have a bad memory? I explained to you earlier how I'm an atheist. Do you not remember?
Yeah, you were claiming that you were raised atheist.
What a miracle is.
No, I wasn't raised being indoctrinated into a god, right? I wasn't raised atheist. I was never. That doesn't even make sense. Atheism is just a response to a proposition, right? That's it. At the base level, all an atheist is, this is the common denominator amongst all atheists. They may go a step further, but the common denominator amongst all atheists is that we do not have, or we do not accept the proposition being true. That doesn't mean that we're saying it's false, right?
What's your point? What are you trying to say, Shawnito? It's so confusing.
Yeah, I can't ascertain a truth value from a proposition that I don't understand.
The problem that we started with since.
No, I don't understand the proposition God exists, because every time I try to get them to describe what they mean by God or exists, we just go down these never-ending, incoherent rabbit trails
We have a
that
book
just never
on
end.
you, right? I mean, if you claim that about us and we have a book and you have nothing, I mean, how can you claim our review is incoherent or unclear to you or never has been explained when we have a book for the past 1400 years explaining it to us here? But you have nothing, no source for us to
explain. You could not
judge.
explain the word
Nothing
awareness.
has to judge.
How does that at all address what I just said, Sense?
You did not define.
Because you just said that. Well,
am I audible or not? I mean, do you hear me, guys?
Yeah, they just don't
yes,
care.
go ahead.
I don't think
Go ahead. You were saying I didn't define consciousness and stuff, man.
You
We
did
already.
not define consciousness.
You're right, nobody cares.
You cannot explain what a miracle is, and you're the one who has the brass neck to say that we're the ones who are refusing your evidence. I don't know what kind of evidence are you looking for or presenting. It's kind of, it's madness. It's complete madness. What you're doing is a complete madness.
All right,
I mean, he tried to explain to you in about an hour time what evolution is, and you appear to be completely ignorant about it. That's one. And before that, it was preceded with the attempt from your side. I requested you to explain what consciousness is from a religious standpoint, and you have failed. And you have failed as well to explain the word awareness. And yet, just in about 10 minutes ago, you also...
You're being very morbid. What do you think he is, Google? If you want answers to your queries, just go to Google and ChatGPT.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that he has to fight for his arguments. He is trying to prove that his knowledge, or whatever religion that he follows, gives him answers. When we present answers from a scientific standpoint and he refuses them, I actually ask him, just like any sane person, to provide that something that is better than our presentation. And he had
I know, but you didn't even agree to any preconditions prior to your line of questioning.
Yeah, Morbid, see, you know what you need? You need like just to understand the way of thinking. So here's a very nice YouTube channel, right? They did a series They basically teach common sense in a lot of cases, right? Adventure podcast. They're good Muslim brothers that go into these many philosophical arguments that you can, give them some thought. If you really want the answers to the questions that you're giving, then have a look at these videos.
Why is atheism supposed to be impossible or questioning its possibility?
Because it entails that it either entails one of two things. That something came from nothing or an infinite regress.
Actually, has nothing to do with either of those.
I don't know how you get that deal.
Can you maybe explain infinite regression, please? Thank you, Sense.
Explain infinite regression? It is impossible. It is the claim that something came from itself.
That's what you believe about God, is that God's eternal, is the same shit.
That's not.
We don't believe God came from himself, no.
So where did he come from?
Can God come from nothing? Or something come from nothing?
God is eternal.
So it's an infinite
Yeah.
regression.
Yeah, God is eternal. Yeah.
Oh no, it's special pleading. Oh no. There we go. Muslim logic.
How is that
since you're
special
also-
pleading? Can you explain?
Because everything has a cause except for your God. Special pleading.
That's not special pleading.
Yes, it is.
That's
Yeah, it is.
necessary.
By definition, it is.
That's the actual definition of special pleading. Just denying it doesn't mean it's not true. It just means you're not a rational person. You're just not a rational
Just
person.
to be clear, the sentence that Royce gave you was that was special pleading. Just to be clear, if you're saying what he just said to you wasn't special pleading, that's false. Roy just gave you was special pleading. Now you might not be special pleading if you actually disambiguate the terms, but what Roy just read to you was special pleading. I don't know if that's actually your view, though. I think it might just be we're talking past each other.
Yeah, so
In one sense, he's saying
when I
that
said, do you believe in the necessary being? I want to understand. Do you believe does everyone here believe in the necessary being?
Oh, I'm agnostic about that. I don't see a contradiction there in the regress.
So I just want you to reconcile sense. How do you reconcile your statements earlier where you're saying that the universe can't have always existed, but then you're saying that your God does, right? Because that's what Royvis was pointing out when you're saying you were using special pleading. Can you just provide the symmetry breaker?
I am providing it when I was asking.
Symmetry breaker.
When I was asking about this necessary being, that everything requires a cause, and that cause, that chain cannot infinitely go in the past. Therefore, there has to be a necessary being. It's very simple.
Yeah, but you're saying that there's this being that has always existed, which is by definition what you're talking about an infinite
that is the
regress.
necessary being. Exactly.
Yeah, you're saying you're imposing an infinite regress in one scenario, but then you're saying that in the next scenario that it's impossible. You're saying that this thing that you're labeling God has always existed. That's by definition infinite regress. By definition. Yes, by definition.
Let me ask you this question then. Does infinite regress entail parts?
An infinite regress entail parts? I don't even know what you're talking about there.
Okay, so if you don't understand that question, then you don't really know infinite regress, right?
Well, no, that doesn't logically follow. Just because I don't understand your question, therefore I don't understand the topic, that doesn't logically follow at all.
Please, Shawnito, don't talk over each other, Shawnito.
It's just fallacy after fallacy here. You're just spitballing them.
You just keep talking, Shawnito. Let him talk. He's the moderator. Jeez.
Yeah, I understand. They get emotional sometimes. It's fine.
These moderators news and fucking troll.
So the idea is if you have infinite regress, it's something coming from another thing, and that thing causing the first thing. Right? You need parts and multiple entities.
This is so much
You have
fun.
an infinite regress. And God does not have parts. He's one. He's only one. So it doesn't work.
Okay, where did God come from? Where did he come from?
He eternally exists.
What do you mean by eternal?
It means he always existed.
So why can't the universe always exist? Why can't the universe
Why
always
can't
exist?
the universe always exist? That's it.
Because the universe is contingent.
No, you don't know that. That's a composition fallacy.
This is denying common sense. If you deny
No, the composition fallacy is not common sense. It's just logic, though.
If you deny common sense, right, that everything is contingent around you that you see, then there's no reason, right? It's like when someone denies he has parents, right? Like, how can you reason with this person?
That's not that.
That's a good question.
The fallacy of composition, like Ray was just pointed out. Do you not understand that fallacy?
No, I think you guys don't understand what you're talking about. I dare you to relate it.
All you have to say is no, you don't understand the fallacy. Because if you don't understand the fallacy based on your own logic, you don't understand logic at all.
You don't understand the fallacy, actually.
Wait, just
you either don't understand the fallacy or don't understand what I
So
said.
explain the fallacy of composition to us if you understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bring a stupid argument and tell me, explain my
So you
stupid
can answer
argument.
it. So you're pretending
Explain
that
my
you're above it.
stupid
You're gonna
argument.
laugh.
Explain my stupid argument.
Ha ha ha. They're just telling you to do Google searches, Sense. That's all they're telling you to do is just, can you do a Google search? Let me Google that for you, please.
That's an argument against what I said.
That's what it is from that. It's more impressive.
Present an argument. How is it a fallacy?
I'm sorry, but what is the purpose of this conversation, and what goals and objectives are we trying to fix, or cure, or try to understand?
Why do you let this idiot in here? I don't understand. Are you not aware that this guy's a...
Hello? I'm a human being, and what you're doing is ad hominem. Leave me alone. Stop centering me.
Republican, you're a piece of shit and a retard. Shut up.
Okay, you're not a moderator. If Sense has a problem with me, he can moderate me. Please don't talk to me like that. That's very rude.
Retard. Hey, retard, shut up.
It's very rude.
I won't accept any kind of...
but not
Adrian?
I'm not using any profanity, and I'm not attacking anyone.
I mean,
He's constantly... Well, Adrian is constantly disrupting. He's not adding any useful information to this discussion at all whatsoever.
he put you accountable. He sometimes put people accountable for what they're saying.
In a trolling way. I don't think he actually believes it. I think he's just doing it in trolling.
I mean, he's appealing to you. He's like, yeah, be the moderator. So he's appealing to you, and you guys are enjoying it, right? So he's just playing you guys like a fiddle. He's playing you guys like a fiddle, and you don't even realize it.
I mean, you enjoy
guys
it as well. I don't know.
like
Doesn't matter. Do we want to get back to the top, the substance? Let's get back to the substance.
Okay, so I don't understand why you guys are calling this fallacious when you don't believe in the necessary being, which is an obvious element of...
I can explain to you the fallacy of composition if you want. If you don't want to give us the definition.
It doesn't apply here. It doesn't apply here.
No, it does apply. It absolutely applies here because what you're saying, you're saying that the properties of the whole are necessarily the properties of the parts, or vice versa, right?
No.
So it's a fallacy of composition or division, depending on which way you want to take it. So you're saying that because we see sequences of events occurring in this reality, and therefore the sequence of events must necessarily have either always occurred or there must have been like this first cause. But that just doesn't logically follow.
Okay. So Shanito, just so I can make sure that you don't know, very clear of what you said and that you don't know what you're talking about with the fallacy of composition. You said that the fallacy of composition is whether you say the whole has the properties of the sum or the sum has the properties of the whole. Both of them are fallacy of composition. Did you say this? Yes or no?
No. I'm saying that you're saying that the properties of the parts are necessarily a property of the whole or vice versa. That's what the fallacy of composition and division point out.
Okay. Did you hear that? The properties of the part are the properties of the whole or vice versa.
Are necessarily.
Yeah.
Don't exclude the word necessary because that's an important key.
I'm not excluding it. I'm adding the word necessarily. Okay. Did you see your definition that you just gave? This is incorrect. The fallacy of composition is when you say that the properties of the whole is necessarily the properties of the sum, not vice versa.
That's what I just said. The fallacy of composition / division. That's why I qualified what I said with the prop. That's what I said. I said the fallacy of composition slash division depends on which direction you go. I specifically said
Shanito!
you have to go because you don't fucking listen. You exclude. I say the word necessary. You don't repeat the word necessary. You can't pay attention to 5 fucking words I say, man. Because when I ask you to repeat what I say, you exclude words constantly, and you just did it like literally 1 minute.
Can you
ago.
please take it from like a 10 to a 2, Shanito? You're yelling, you're hyper-verbalizing, and this is not a conversation. You're just yelling.
Okay, gallery, thank you, bye. Nobody cares about you, bye. Okay, so yeah, so the fallacy of composition slash division, depending on which direction you're going, is you're saying that the parts of the whole, or the whole itself, necessarily is the same as the parts or the whole. Depending on which direction you go is dependent upon which fallacy you're committing here, right? And so you're saying that the parts, the properties that you're seeing in reality, right? We see antecedent conditions to emergent conditions, right? So there's like this sequence of events that were occurring, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to extrapolate that and saying, well, based on this information, that necessarily means that there's either an infinite universe, an infinite past, or a beginning to everything, and it just doesn't logically follow.
Yeah, so again, now that it is clear that the fallacy of composition is when you say that the property of the whole is necessarily in the sum, we understand that my argument does not, this fallacy does not apply to my argument, because I never said that the sum have all the properties of God. I never said the creation has all the properties of God, all the wisdom of God. I never brought such an argument.
Wait a minute.
And this is,
when did we start talking about God? When did we start talking about God? Why are you bringing...
Okay, I have to mute. He will not be quiet. So the idea here is that they brought up this fallacy when I was saying when the
Yes! Yes!
God has nothing to do with it.
And now he is taking back his words and going to a different topic. The main point
God has
is that
nothing
they
to do with this. God has nothing to do with this.
To claim
God has
that
nothing to
my
do with this. Why are you bringing up God?
Is a fallacy.
Why are you bringing up God? God has nothing to do with this. We're talking about the universe here.
Muting,
Why are you
please.
bringing up God?
Shani, can I just say 1 second? Yeah, you can say the fallacy of composition or division, but you need to prove it's not always true. Like, I can give you an example. Like, if you bring a wall, you know, you make a wall out of bricks, and bricks are red, the whole wall would also be red. So what is true of the part is also true of the whole.
Yes,
So it's
the
not
fallacy
like
points out it's not a necessary condition. That's what he's saying. He's saying that necessarily, because we see a sequence of events in reality, that necessarily entails that the sequence of events either always occurred or that there was a beginning point, and that doesn't logically follow.
Yeah, I will tell you why. Because everything around us, everything we observe, created needed a cause. Understand? So for you to appeal to like there are certain things that don't need
I
cause.
reject that. I reject that.
I reject that!
Okay, so there are things that don't need any cause.
No. So just because we have observed everything that we've observed, there seems to be a cause to it. That doesn't therefore mean that everything has a cause. You're going from epistemology to ontology at this point. You're making a statement about reality that you can't investigate.
Yeah, that's literally Dave Hume's problem. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Wait. Before you go to David Hume's and yeah. So no, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, my interest, like I'm looking around everything that's created needs a cause. So me to say the universe is created and it needs a cause, what's wrong there? Why are you saying this is a fallacy of composition? For you to make this argument, you need to show me like something that doesn't need anything, like any cause or something. Or you need to show like the whole universe is uncaused.
No, I don't. All I'm saying is that your logic doesn't logically follow. The logic that you're presented doesn't logically follow.
Can you please stop repeating yourself and just stop saying logically it does not follow? You just keep repeating yourself, Shanito.
I don't have to provide you with a counterexample. You have to demonstrate that your logic actually follows.
No, for you to claim this is the fallacy of composition, like what is true of the part is true of the whole. You need to bring me some part or something.
No, you keep butchering it again and again and again. I'm saying that I don't understand why I have to do you guys actually listen when I provide you with definitions? Because I just gave you this definition 5 minutes ago, and you just butchered it again, which lets me know you're not actually listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
You're not listening.
Yeah, let me repeat. What is true of the part is also true of the whole. That is a fallacy of composition. It doesn't necessarily use
Necessity is the
Johnny doesn't get invited to family functions.
The case because you see the property either in the part or the whole, that the vice versa is also true, and that doesn't logically follow.
Yeah, okay, so I see an elephant. Elephant is composed of atoms. Atoms are small, therefore elephant in whole is small. That would be like fallacy of composition, right?
Yeah, so we could say all dogs are mammals, but not all mammals are dogs, right?
No, what example I gave was a correct example, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, I wasn't listening to your example, but my example is very clear, and it paints a clear picture. All dogs are mammals, but not all mammals are dogs, right? That's an easy one, right?
Yeah. So I gave you another example of bricks and wall, right? But it also follows like what is true of the part is also true of the whole, right?
We're talking about necessity here. We're talking about necessity. Just because there's a property of a part, there's a property of a part.
I thought we were talking about God, not necessities.
Jesus Christ.
Say his name out loud and profess him Lord and King. Jesus Christ!
Just trolling. He's not adding anything to this room. Just because there are cases where, yes, there are properties that are properties of the whole. But what we're talking about is whether or not the properties are necessarily a part of the whole and the part, right? And you keep saying that they are in this case, but you're not providing a reason for it. You're just stating it is a case. So it doesn't logically follow just because you say it's a case.
Yes, I will tell you how. I will tell you. For me to draw an inference, like everything around me that is created needs a cause. The whole universe that is composed of all these created things itself needs a cause, right? That's what the leap of you're saying, like your special pleading or your
No. Just because everything that we've observed today, that we have observations of today, we can see that there is a causal chain in these events. That therefore doesn't mean that at a point in the past that we can just therefore infer like everything came into existence or there was this initial cause.
You can't
like,
through the now, the power of now.
You're extrapolating the data and you're forming
It's called the eternal now, Shawnito. It's a concept.
The inference is flawed, and I've explained how it's flawed.
Let me remove Adrian first. He needs to go down. It's interrupted.
It's called the eternal now.
Yeah, Nuri, you there, brother?
It finally took action.
Because I'm actually at work. I was listening, and I just took like 2-3 minutes to just talk.
One thing I would like to your presentation, I should say, is that when you observe everything coming with a cause, something that which all of that, this is what is known as a linear web.
I said you'd have enough of those, but it looks like it's still out of control. Like I understand.
I just saw a fireman fly down on a video, like basically like fly, like he probably couldn't breathe anymore and he just went down, you know. And there are people that are dying, you know. I think as of this morning they were up to like 5 or 6 people that are dying, which
That's what I heard.
It's horrible, but it's not the largest count. You know what I mean? Like it could be a lot worse if people don't get out of their house.
Moderators, I'd like to be put in the queue.
Okay, you're last. You're also the first one, but you're also the last one.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with this. I read that Airbnb is giving like 8,000
houses or something like that. Like they're going to cover the cost or whatever
Yeah.
for the displaced people.
Yeah.
And I think they're like, it's amazing, but there are like how many? Like 150,000 people that are displaced now?
It's horrible. Oh my God. It's like, you know, when I started hearing about it, when was it? Saturday or Sunday? When was it that it started?
It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I thought like, oh, these guys, like this is just one forest fire, you know, like every year, you know. And that's what I thought. And it was like, hey, but why are you having fires right now? Aren't you supposed to have fires on summer? And then the whole thing started spreading, and the videos are crazy.
Crazy. And yeah, right. Even on Clubhouse, they were saying, "Oh, it's a small one. They've had worse. This is really bad. Like cities are burning down, restaurants, houses, homes. You know."
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Yirmina.
Where are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, it's an interruption of our life, but it's.
Is it near you?
Where are you?
Do you live close to the fires, or are you at a decent?
I'm far enough away that the fire didn't affect us too much this time, but our power is
smell it.
So anyway.
Are you smelling it, Yirmina?
No, I'm not. I'm not anywhere. I'm not anywhere near there now.
Caleb. Who else lives in California? Caleb lives in California, right?
No, he's a Jerseyan.
No, New York, no.
Oh, okay, I don't remember.
There's a lot of Jews in LA impacted by this fire. Rabboina Shalorloi, may Hashem intercede and dump mountains of water upon the burning bush. Rabboina Shalorloi.
That's another thing. What's the weather forecast in LA right now?
They like this. How do you call this wind? Like a level 2 hurricane, something like this.
Santa Ana.
Yeah.
This is Santa Ana.
I've lived in LA.
But where the hell is the water? We need hurricane.
It's the ocean. But the problem is, LA is so woke, they emptied all of their fire hydrants. The leadership is a bunch of fat lesbians. And this is rampant throughout the country in police stations and all fire departments. The lesbians have coup d'etat the United States. They've revolted and literally established themselves as the superior leadership and power throughout the country. And look what they have done.
Yeah, I know.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
They're emptying the hydrants.
I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of people in America that are actually happy that a lot of these rich liberal snobs have been burned out of their homes as a result of DEI hiring practices.
Well, listen, I think that if anything, these might change finally the mind of people, and they will realize that they're just being governed by such fucking incompetent, you know. Sorry, Tom.
What does someone's sexual desire for orgasm have to?
Daniel, what were you saying?
I don't know. I'm just saying that anyone that is happy for it, and I saw like also on Twitter people that are like gloating or like using it for the Palestinian cause or for this cause. It's like it's so horrible. Like, can't you just like accept that this is horrible and people are losing their life and properties and life? Some people lost their life.
This is Politics 101. You attach political sentiment to any current Newsday event and make it associated to whatever your political objective, goal, or opinion is.
Yeah, I think it's inhumane.
What's inhumane? Sorry.
Talk to Soren. I'm sure he thinks the fires were caused by the Zionists. Just listen. Soren, who caused the fires?
To be happy or to gloat that, I don't know, this person lost their house because I don't like his view, or that many people are using this for a different cause. I think it's disgusting.
Well, I mean, it depends on what view. I don't know. I just came in, so I just heard the last part. But I do think the liberals in California government are responsible for the fire. I mean,
so if you're focusing on the fire, that's fine. You can talk about the fire, but people are using it for to talk about Ukraine or to talk about Palestine or to talk about this or to be happy because this person lost their house, and look what he wrote on Twitter. So I think it's nothing to do with like finding like why it happened or to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if it's personal to one person, yeah, maybe.
This, I don't know if you've seen the satellite images, and I don't know the equivalency of energy release in nuclear bombs, but this is such a catastrophic fire of unimaginable proportions. And literally, people are doing house ransacking and stealing whatever they can steal. But the worst thing is the grifting online of using the content for political propaganda. But LA is a horrific, there's just not enough terrible things to say about this situation. And it's a great tragedy.
Just wonder what's going to happen to the land ratio in the next 6 months, whether it's going to cost the same, because it's extremely affluent neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
these valuations, everything is upside down now. A $1.5 million house is now like 500,000.
It's the government's own doing, right? I mean, they didn't. There's no water in the fire hydrant. There's no they didn't build the reservoir. Wasted all.
What do you mean no water in the fire hydrant? I mean, how is the fire hydrant connected to the
No, they
system?
redirected the water to preserve a fish. Gavin Newsom redirected the water to help protect a species of fish. It's like this ridiculous, stupid fish.
Exactly.
So fire hydrants are not operational in LA?
No.
Exactly.
They're that politically correct. They're that environmentally retarded. They destroyed themselves with their own policies and sentiment, political philosophy, and really it's the effeminization of everything.
That is not retarded. That is criminal.
Yeah.
It is. It is no less than criminal.
But I mean, if you don't like Planned Parenthood, every street corner in LA has a Planned Parenthood. I mean, the whole fucking thing is criminal. I've seen Chuck Schumer walking around on Westwood. I mean, it's a sickness. There's a lot of Republican conservative Jews that live in Beverly Hills that push back. They have, there's a big conservative movement in LA because they're being choked. The whole system is a communist socialist system. And it's despicable. These people are creatures from the swamp.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, yeah, you can say Schadenfreude isn't good, but many of the people, including the rich Hollywood types, are the one pushing for the liberal policies, and now it's eating themselves alive. I mean, literally.
Yeah, but there are also many non-rich people that are.
Yeah, I know.
Losing
I understand that. Yeah, exactly. That's the point, right? Finally, these liberal types are, at least themselves are eating what they sow.
Okay. Can you
it's
do
really
my
weird.
class or something, please?
Yes, please address all of your remarks to Soren.
Okay. May I?
Yes, please address all your remarks to Soren.
Okay. Well, I think that I'm quite upset about myself as a human being.
Please hold, Riri. Soren has decided to take a phone call.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm trying to troll, I'm not going to be real with you. Why would I be real with you? You don't speak Yiddish. All of you don't speak Yiddish.
Alles ist gut. Geh kachenlichtig in dein Augen. Fusta! Fusta!
I'm speaking around it. Yeah, you took me today, but you don't, really.
Goylem.
I would, with all due respect, for the sake of my grandparents.
Gesund. You've got schmutz on your PTR. Who is that in your PTR, Riri?
That's my album.
Nach der Rebbeprint.
No, but
Nach der Rebbeprint. Drinkt alles der
Yes. I won.
You're giving her incredible ecstasy and pleasure, El Normo. More!
Norman, that's why I love you. You have to
You're killing me.
You must be Yiddish.
man. It helps.
Did you say Yiddish Kliddish?
Yes, you is part of it. You have to all day today. You must be Yiddish. It helps.
Speak Yiddish, dress British.
No, but Yiddish is very important in our society. But yeah, anyway.
Yiddish Kliddish, Kliddish Yiddish.
But they speak, don't they speak that in Somalia?
No, they don't do that. They speak, like Somalia, there's different types of Somalia. So you have Ethiopia, part of Somalia, and the people that you tried to save in 1986.
I thought half speaks Yiddish and the other half speaks Farsi.
No, yeah.
No?
You know, going back to the Los Angeles fires, if you just look at the energy potential, which is what caused all of this, how they left all that energy potential in all the fields everywhere without a systematic strategy. I mean, it just goes to show you that these big fat lesbian fire chiefs are too busy on LGBTQ Pride Month going around and waving flags as opposed to doing any physical labor, which they're completely incapable of because they weigh 300 pounds. They can't touch their toes. They can't see their clit. Yiddish Kliddish.
Adrian, how does the fire department responsible for the fire? This is like the
Yeah,
opposite.
but Hashem is not against everybody.
They are responsible because they didn't do any of the clearing or the pre-fires. Like, this is a whole management system that they're supposed to actually have plans and efforts in place that prevented this. Pre-fire, they knew the energy potential of all this. The insurance companies.
The responsibility of the fire.
Yes,
department.
it is. It is. That's their primary responsibility. But in today's society, it's not, because DEI is their supposed responsibility. It's all they talk about. It's all they think about.
Hold on with the bullshit, Adrian. Hold on with the bullshit. I'm trying to understand. Like cleaning the forest from leaves. This is the responsibility of the
Yes.
department.
Yes. It's preemptive. It is preemptive work. Yes, they have budgets for this. What do you think these people do with their pensions and their salaries? They're supposed to take care of this, but unfortunately, the fat lesbians don't know shit about fire prevention management.
Adrian, stop it.
Calm down, bro.
Yeah, first of all, calm down, Adrian.
Supposed to be clearing the forests.
Okay, but
I'm not
every
sure what
time
the
it's
lesbian. I'm not sure. Hold on. I'm not sure what the lesbian has to do anything with this.
They're fucking 300 pounds. They can't do any work. They're not leaders. They have no vision. They have no strategy. They're incompetent lesbians who wave flags and do parades because they're fucking balloons and floats.
Relax. Okay, if you get the lesbian, why are you against gay?
You didn't lose your house. I mean, I have friends that have lost their house. They hate these fat lesbians. They want them out. They don't want them in leadership positions. They want their pension stripped. They want their employment stripped. They want them the fuck out of there. They don't belong there to begin with. They can't even fucking climb a ladder. That's what firemen do. They climb ladders. They open roofs. They extinguish fires. These fat lesbians can't do shit. You know it. I know it. They're there because of DEI hiring practices.
Actually, Adrian, first of all, I understand that you have a very specific narrative, and I don't think that you really, again, care about them. You said DEI like 17 times.
Can't I just be a devil's advocate? Can't I be a contrarian and just be myself?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Can I be myself as well when you finish? Can I be myself when you finish?
Yes, Riri, but please address all your remarks to Soren.
Jewish are from Germany. No, I'm not Jewish, by the way.
The Jewish are from Judah in Israel, Riri.
Okay, but be nice. We don't have to punish everybody. It's terrible. You have to go back to the Zionist ideology. You have to read that. All the people be kind.
Oh my God.
Shut up, Daniel.
It's too early. It's too early for this.
To have to be very harsh. All the people be nice to me. Okay, fine. Be nice to him.
Please direct all your comments to Soren and start off all your comments with Soren. I would like you to know the following.
Okay, go ahead, speak. But I just want to talk about Somaliland, but go ahead. What do you want to say?
Great PTR, Soren. Oh my God, great PTR.
Okay, yeah, that's who I am. It's my Abba. What can I do? That's my Abba. I love it.
Not you, really. Not you.
Okay, fine. Well, I do understand why they upset with you. Can you find like compromise? I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but can you find solution
To what?
between you and Islam?
Between Riri and Islam?
No, she wants you to come up with a solution to unify Judaism and Islamism.
Yeah,
No, I cannot.
Why not?
I cannot, because Islamism, it's different than being a Muslim. Being
My
an Islamist
great grandfather came out with the ideology of I have his name, but don't you think you should find solutions somehow? I don't know. You must.
Come on, Daniel, you can do it. I have a munah in you.
You must have mathematics ideology. You're very smart, Daniel. Okay, you live in Germany right now.
But Riri, maybe you're just unaware of the fact that he's doing it right now, in this space, in this tiny little clown house room, and you're just unaware of the work that he's doing at this very moment, Riri.
I know, honey, but he's not from really, really German.
He's what?
He's not really, really German.
What kind of vodka do you drink, Riri?
I don't drink alcohol.
You don't? Then where's your elixir coming from? What sweet nectar of the gods are you ingesting?
She's crazy. Wow, I like that.
You need a TikTok, Riri.
Me? Would that help?
Yes, you can do the work too.
I don't want that. I want to make a difference.
How else do you expect to make a difference unless you're using a cell phone to make that difference?
I don't know. Help me out, please. You're so smart and intellectual.
Thank you, Riri.
What is new in the world today? Except for LA.
We need to go to Somaliland.
Netanyahu is going to. What do you think about Netanyahu is going to Poland? Do you think that trip is going to happen? And if it does, what's going to happen?
Nothing.
Netanyahu never said that he's supposed to go to Poland. I know that there's a lot of discussion around it, but I know that now the president of Poland is trying to do something, but when this story came out, as far as I know, Netanyahu wasn't planning to go there, so I don't know if it matters. It's like a lot of wind over nothing.
Listen, the Polish people are very conservative, and in fact, Poland was named by a Jew. The Jewish historicity and legacy comes out of Poland in many ways, and when he goes back, the Polish people, they know bullshit when they smell it, and they are going to honor him with a state visit.
He's talking about going for the 80-year ceremony.
Holocaust.
Yes.
They're not going to arrest him. The Polish people secretly love him.
Where was the Holocaust?
It was in Europe, Riri. It was in Germany, in Poland, in Ukraine, in Romania, in France, in Italy. It was everywhere.
Why were you talking about that?
Yeah, because the president says we will probably arrest him anyway. But
they're not going to arrest him, Soren. You're living in a dreamland delusion propaganda state of mind. You're an IRGC agent who just wants to talk about Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu 24/7. Get a life, get a wife, get a job, do something with yourself.
No, they will not arrest him, obviously. I think this is a picture that we will not see.
Look at Soren laughing. He's like, I know, but the IRGC pays my bills.
Listen to me. You have to make a difference, okay? You made a mistake. If you could actually stroke,
Did you have a stroke or something recently, Riri? I can't understand a word you're saying.
Oh, shut up! No, I'm just saying. You should Poland, no. We were really bad in Germany.
Great. Do you floss your teeth, Riri?
Yeah, I have a great teeth actually. I bought bracelets like that.
Well, may God bless you even more, Riri.
Thank you.
God must really be on your side because I don't know how you even made it here. You're a survivor. Did you go through a Holocaust, Riri?
God, oh my God, Holocaust. Fuck off.
And you've got this Colombian president's speech today.
Yep, there you go. See what you're doing? You're being a piece of shit. Look what you're doing. You're not winning, you're losing. This is the problem.
Soren, I mean, what do you think? Soren, what do you think about the Argentinian president? Because he's very pro-Zionist. He's super Chabad.
He's the only, he's leading the only countries that pro-Zionist. But I'll just put the link in about the Colombian.
I don't know if you heard about the United
Guys,
States of
I
America.
put something on the link. Follow it. Thank you.
Sorry, what were you going to say, El Norma?
Idiot.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if he'd heard of this country called the United States of America. It's a big one. It's in North America, very pro-Zionist.
Aren't they bankrupt though, El Norma? How are they going to help Israel if they're so bankrupt?
Oh my God, Norman, we love you. I hate you. I thought you was fucking Irish American, but I realized you were American. So yeah.
Jesus Christ, Riri, what happened to you? Did you go through a fucking A-bomb, nuke bomb? What happened to you?
Shut up, bitch. No, I
Wow, that was a powerful shut up, bitch. Good one. Riri, when was the last time you were in a relationship with a man?
Never.
Exactly.
I'm really young, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there with that. No,
Just kill the room, El Normo. Riri has decimated another room. She detonated a giant Riri explosion. I don't know, Riri. Try reading a book or doing something with yourself.
I know. I will do that. Can you just be kind?
Of course I can be kind, but you're so obnoxiously retarded.
I know that. What about you?
Well, I'm your yin to your yang. I'm your schmeckle to your badussy.
You're like 40 years old and you like a piece of shit.
Riri, what do you do? How do you survive?
I survived with my grandparents' money.
I heard you're beautiful.
I know I am.
That explains a lot.
But why would I be beautiful if I don't feel beautiful?
Riri, can you please address all of your comments to Soren in another room, please?
Okay, thank you. I don't want to be horrible to you. Can you...
Thank you very little. Okay, Riri, can you please update your PTR with a picture of yourself so we can see just how beautiful you truly are? Oh, she left. Well, we have a minion forming. Danny, welcome to the room. Anything you'd like to say? Raboina Shaloiloim?
Can you fill in my charity, please?
You want us to what? Sorry, Riri. I'm putting you in timeout. I'd like you to take 10 deep breaths and meditate on Hashem, Raboina Shaloiloim. Okay, I'm going to read from the Tao Te Ching. This is your morning Torah study.
Okay, I did.
Ah! She's back!
What came first, the chicken or the egg? I want to know.
Okay, fine, I'm leaving, but can you do me a favor?
What?
Can we see what you look like?
I'm going to do you a favor. Listen to this, Riri.
Oh, wow.
Govern the state by being straightforward. Wage war by being crafty, but win the empire by not being meddlesome. How do I know that it is like that? By means of this. The more taboos there are in the empire, the poorer the people. The more sharpened the tools the people have, the more benighted the state. The more skills the people have, the further novelties multiply. The better known the laws and edicts, the more thieves and robbers there are. Hence the sage says, I take no action, and the people are transformed of themselves. I prefer stillness, and the people are rectified of themselves. I am not meddlesome, and the people prosper of themselves. I am free from desire, and the people of themselves become simple like the uncarved block. When the government is muddled, the people are simple. When the government is alert, the people are cunning. It is on disaster that good fortune perches. It is beneath good fortune that the disaster couches, crouches. Who knows the limit, Riri? Does not the straightforward exist? The straightforward changes again into the crafty, and the good changes again into the monstrous. Indeed, it is long since the people were perplexed. Therefore the sage is square-edged, but does not scrape, has corners, but does not jab, extends himself, but not at the expense of others, shines, but does not dazzle. Are you going crazy yet, Riri? Because you're not getting your dopamine in? In ruling the people and in serving heaven, it is best for a ruler to be sparing. It is because he is sparing that he may be said to follow the way from the start. Following the way from the start, he may be said to accumulate an abundance of virtue. Accumulating an abundance of virtue, there is nothing he cannot overcome. When there is nothing he cannot overcome, no one knows his limit. When no one knows his limit, he can possess a state. When he possesses the mother of a state, he can then endure. This is called the way of deep roots and firm stems by which one lives to see many days. Governing a large state is like boiling a small fish. When the empire is ruled in accordance with the way the spirits lose their potencies, or rather it is not that they lose their potencies, but that though they have their potency. Oh, I'm reading the Tao Te Ching. Everybody left. And Riri wanted me to educate her on some philosophy. What are you doing today, Daniel?
I'm trying to book a vacation.
You deserve it, my friend. 1-2 years of letting people just fill your mind with all their bullshit. You deserve a wonderful vacation, all expense paid trip to the Bahamas. You are that is.
No, it's gonna be London.
You're gonna go to London on vacation?
Yeah.
I mean, are you interested in like English history?
No.
Well, I mean, if you go to London, there's like at least 10 major things you should see in terms of like English history.
No, I've been to London already. Like we have friends that are going, and we said we might gonna join them. So I'm trying to find either in their hotel or like close by.
Oh, super expensive, right?
Yes.
Why don't you just stay at like a hostel? Go to hostels.com and see if you can
No,
find.
we wanna be like we're going with friends, and they got like a place that is kind of expensive. So either we will do the same thing, or I will try to find something around.
Why don't you go somewhere warm?
Yeah, because this is I don't know. It's like I don't know. I actually want to go to Thailand, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been there. It's freaking great, man. If the amount of money you're gonna spend in London, you can go to Thailand 2 times.
I know. I've been to Thailand like 3-4 times. I love it.
Yeah.
But if I go to Thailand, it's for like 2 weeks, not for like 4 days.
Yeah. Did you go to Koh Samui or Koh Phangan?
Both.
Yeah. Then you know what it's like. It's just that's a real vacation.
I was living in Koh Tao for 2 days, but I hated Koh Tao.
I mean, I wouldn't go to England.
I didn't really love Bangkok also.
Yeah. I don't know. It's affordable, but
Yo, Dave, you fucking cunt. You put me to audience. You listened to all day today. You speaking a lot. Fuck you, fucking piece of shit cunt. Fuck you. Fuck you all day. Fuck you.
Get it all out, Riri.
Fucking cunt.
Get it all
If
out.
I saw you, I would beat the fuck out of you.
Ooh.
I would slap you. I would bite you.
Oh.
That's it.
Ooh, you know how I like it. What an angry Somalian woman. She is a fierce fighter from a tribe out of the northern plains of Somalia. What a beautiful woman. Have you ever been to like southern Italy or
Rome only.
what's that island off the boot of Italy? Not Crete. Is it Crete? I can't remember.
No,
Sicily.
I love Italy.
Yeah.
Italy any day.
Well, why don't you do that? Because London is a fucking shithole at this point.
No, because actually we're going there because we're going, like, friends are going there.
Yeah, what I'm telling you is ditch your friends. Who cares?
Well, there are like, yeah, it's not like those are friends that live in the United States. So it's like the opportunity to see them.
Maybe you should go to the Netherlands and arrest Soren and bring him before the International Clubhouse Criminal Tribunal for spreading propaganda. I'll help you. We'll do his top secret independent Mossad operation. Arrest him.
The problem with Israelis that they don't mingle with other nationalities. They like to travel together. That's the problem.
No, they're not. None of them. I'm the only Israeli in the group, by the way.
Oh, so you're different, man. You know what I'm talking about. You guys don't like to mingle with other people. When you travel among yourself.
No.
Okay.
We meet Israelis everywhere, and we feel
Nah,
comfortable
that's because
with
of the
Israelis.
English. Probably it's because they don't speak. I'm not actually English. They're not comfortable. I've met a lot of them in Thailand and north of India. Patagonia, but they're always among themselves for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the people that are going to the Far East going after the army, and then they go with like friends. I also went with, well, once I went with friends, once I went with family.
What Soren's
Actually, I don't like to.
What Soren's
Kosovo was full of Israelis.
Soren, what are you really trying to say? Are you trying to say that Israelis act independently because they view themselves as being, maybe above the rest of the traveling public? Or hi, Jordan Gruber, Dr. Gruber's here.
I think it's just about they don't trust people much.
Dr. Gruber, come on up. We're forming a minion. We're going to do a Tanya Torah study. Rabbeinu Shalom.
Dr. Gruber.
And that was before 7th of October. Now I think they're even more mingling among themselves. Probably.
Soren, we don't normally do this, but we'd be willing in a clubhouse room to let you join our minion. Would you be okay with joining us in prayer to Hashem, Rabbeinu Shalom?
Absolutely. I mean, 100%.
Another minion miracle. Okay, just be polite and keep your mouth shut, Soren, and your ears open. Okay, Soren.
Hey, Zach. I'll be right back.
So, Soren, what do you know about the Shema, and what do you know about the Tanya?
No, nothing. Okay, enlighten us.
Excellent. Dr. Gruber has decided to join the minion. Good morning, Dr. Gruber. How are you doing? I assume you've been spared these brush fires?
Oh, yeah, those are hundreds of miles to the south. I'm in Northern California. Don't you need, what is it, 10 people for a million? 11? I forget. 13?
Technically, you only need 2, but 10 is the perfect number. Okay, Zach, can you read from the Tanya?
I could do a quick one.
Yeah, give us a quick Tanya blast. Listen closely, Soren. You might learn something.
Soren is an Arab. Soren is an Arab who hates Israel. When you come to realize that Soren hates Israel, okay, sorry, I'm being irascible.
Remember, Maimonides is watching.
What are we doing?
So Zach and I bought the Tanya by translated by Rabbi Rami Shapiro, and so we've been doing Tanya reading rooms, and this is our
What is
attempt.
Tanya?
Tanya is written by yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
Just listen to one of the chapters. In my opinion, Tanya is a Gnostic, like Hermetic Jewish mysticism book. But it's the founder of Chabad. It's his primary book. He wrote it in prison. It's called the Tanya.
The Chabad book. Daniel, one is called The Way of Friendship.
Oh.
There is yet another direct way to God that is near to you. This is the way of friendship. Revealed in the verse, as water mirrors face to face, so the heart of one mirrors the heart of another. As love between friends circles from one to the other in an endless round, so too the love of God. God's love lifts you out of narrowness, not through any intermediary, but by himself alone, as it is written, and I descended to save him. God's love lifts us to true intimacy and unity with God. You reflect this love back to God through spiritual practice. This is what Solomon calls the union of bridegroom and bride. Now the commentary. The friendship that the Alter Rebbe is proposing is that intimate friendship between bridegroom and bride. This is called kiddushin, betrothal. When you do a mitzvah, it is often prefaced by a blessing containing the word kiddushanu, conventionally translated as God has sanctified us. But the deeper meaning is that through the self-emptying mitzvot you are about to perform, you are betrothed to God, taken up in the loving embrace of bridegroom and bride. Tanya is saying that just as friends act lovingly towards one another, and lovers all the more so, when you realize you are loved by God, you will return that love, not in some mystical abstract manner, but by actively loving others, even people like Soren. Through the performance of mitzvot, especially generosity, tzedakah, and compassion, also known as chesed.
Nicely done, Zach. Soren, can you maybe tell us what you just listened to? Did we crack your egg a little bit? Have we lowered your IRGC guard down? Have you put your IRGC salary into the garbage, into the waste bin yet? Are you going to move to America and become a defector?
May Lord Jesus Christ have mercy on your soul. Amen.
Ribono Shel Olam, another Tanya miracle. Okay, Zach, do you have it in you to read another one?
I could read another, I guess.
Go for it. We have a minion forming. Eitan, do you want to come up and join this minion?
Hey, what up, everyone?
Hey, Tom.
All right, this is the short one. It's called Two Types of Awe. There are two levels of awe, one lower and one higher. The lower awe is experienced as fear, particularly a fear of harming others. This fear fills you with the desire to turn from evil and do good. About this type of awe, our sages said, if there's no fear, there is no wisdom. But the higher awe is experienced as wonder, so intense that it overwhelms the self with the glory of God. Of this awe, our sages said, if there is no wisdom, there is no wonder. So the first one they say, if there's no fear, there's no wisdom. But this one they say, if there's no wisdom, there is no wonder. Now, just as there are two grades of awe, so there are two grades of love, one lower and one higher. The lesser love is a longing for connections in the world, which is what I am constantly preoccupied with. But the greater love is realization of one's connection with God, which is what our friend Edmund Dakin is constantly trying to remind us of. Now the commentary. Worldly love, ahavat olam, is never completely satisfying because it depends on an other who is both ever-changing and impermanent. In time, the suffering caused by worldly love leads to a desire for something more and kindles the greater love, ahava rabba. At this point, you seek out a spiritual teacher like Edmund Dakin and take the first steps from self-focused fear and longing to selfless awe and love.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to read one from Tanya. This is called folly. It says, here is another meaning of the teaching. For this thing is very near to you. Even when folly enters into you, you can be free of it. Folly causes you to forget your unity with God. Remembering unity erases folly. You remember your union with God by arousing the love of God that is always present in your heart. Even if folly leads to idolatry, still you can turn from it and be free. True, our sages said, one who says, I will sin and repent again, is not given an opportunity to repent. But this does not mean that repentance is denied them, only that God will not provide them with an opportunity to repent. They must seize their own moment for repentance. Then God will forgive them. For as it is written, nothing can stand in the way of repentance. Subnote, Psalm 51:10, you cannot hear joy unless and until you are capable of hearing sadness. You cannot hear gladness unless and until you are capable of hearing suffering.
That's a good one. I remember that one from yesterday or the day before, but it's nice to hear again.
Okay, this one's called The Profit of Sadness. In every sadness, there will be profit. What is the profit in sadness? A broken heart shatters the self and the glittering shell of selflessness, the glittering shell of selfishness that seems to separate you from God. A broken spirit, a broken heart, you will not despise. When your heart is broken over the suffering you have caused, your sense of otherness is shattered, and you can no longer ignore the suffering of others, and you are able to hear joy and gladness. Just as you recite a blessing for good fortune, so you must recite a blessing for misfortune. Why? Because your suffering attunes you to the suffering of others. And being so attuned breaks your heart, allowing the light of God to pierce the iron ball of isolated self. Hence it is written, the Most High abides in secrecy. These are the subnotes. The way of awe through Torah is not for everyone, nor is the way of mitzvot spiritual practice. So the Alter Rebbe offers yet another path, the way of the broken heart. The heart conditioned by the isolation of the Sitra Achra, the other side of God that denies your connection with God, is encased in Kalipa Noga, the glittering shell of selfishness. Such a heart is hard yet also brittle. It loves what it loves for its own ends, and because it loves this way, it often causes needless suffering that ultimately destroys what it loves. When love is lost, there is heartbreak, a moment of sadness so sharp as to crack the shell of selfishness. When the shell is cracked, you experience the suffering of others, and because you experience the suffering of others, you connect with them. This connection is the voice of joy and gladness. Hence, even a moment of great sadness can be a moment of great transformation. For in that sadness, the self recognizes its interconnection with the other. In this way, God realization, Da'at Devakut, is the secret profit in even the most terrible suffering. Okay, this is called.
I wrote something.
Oh, you wrote something? Oh, hi, Icky. What did he write?
Hey. No, it's too long, but it's just coincidental to this whatever you get spilling out right now. It's oddly coincidental.
Yeah, we're reading Alter Rebbe, which is the founder of Chabad or Hasidism. This is tied into Zohar, and
Oh, right, okay.
so what we're just trying to do is do a therapeutic meditational hypnosis, basically.
Oh well, don't let me interrupt then. By any means. Yeah, go ahead. Back to it. Sounds great.
Okay, this is the last one I'll read. It's called Passive Restraint. Not all sadness arises from a broken heart. Perhaps your sadness stems from haunting negative thoughts and desires. Do not despair over such thoughts, for every illicit thought provides an opportunity for turning, and in so doing to fulfill the commandment, you shall not follow after your heart and after your eyes, by which you go astray. Our sages taught, when you passively refrain from sin, you are rewarded as though you had actively performed a commandment. Do not despair over such thoughts, even if they arise in you all day long, for perhaps subduing such thoughts is the reason why you were created. About this, Job said to God, "You have created the wicked." This means that God created wicked thoughts that you might subdue them by averting your mind from them, and in this way sanctify yourselves and be holy. Subnote: the Alter Rebbe imagines yet another kind of in-betweener, the person who suffers not from impure deeds but from impure thoughts. Again, do not despair, for these thoughts are themselves opportunities for turning. Rather than seek to eliminate such thoughts from your mind, which in fact only focuses your attention on them all the more strongly, all you need to do is not follow after them. Numbers 15. When these thoughts arise, simply turn your attention to something else. Our sages call this passive resistance. And about it they say, when you passively refrain from sin, you are rewarded as though you had actually performed a mitzvah. Talmud Kedushin 39b. To passively refrain is to consciously allow a thought to pass without attending to it. Not following a thought allows it to fade from consciousness. Rather than despair over the wickedness in your mind, entertain the possibility that this is why you were created in the first place. Dealing with such thoughts is your spiritual path. Even if you spend your entire life shifting attention from bad thoughts to good, rejoice, for this is the work you have been given, and in time it too will lead to God realization. Da'at Devakut. This is what Job meant when he said to God, "You have created the wicked." Talmud Bava Batra 16a. Job did not mean that God created humankind to be wicked, but that God created wicked thoughts to provide those who think them with an opportunity to turn from them. Okay, these are the other subnotes. Every evil thought has its root in something good. Lust, for example, arises from love, and anger from the desire for justice. The righteous person, Zadok, has the power to trace an evil thought to its root, and in this way transform it into something good. This practice requires a level of mental control that few possess, and the Alter Rebbe does not advise you to engage in this practice. Proverbs 26:4. Fighting thoughts with thoughts only strengthens the distraction. Okay, that's 3 chapters from the Tanya, the masterpiece of Hasidic wisdom, forward by Rabbi Zalman Schechter Shalomi, translated by Rabbi Rami Shapiro. Hope you enjoyed that brief Torah Tanya study. Anybody else want to read anything?
Well, it's not so much that I want to. Something just came up. Although your rooms may be fleeting. Hang on. And what was this about the Zohar? Could you just type in what you had mentioned before, like the title of the work?
Yeah.
In the comments.
Yep. It mentions Zohar. It quotes from Zohar. But it's called Tanya by Alter Rebbe. I just think Tanya is like a very, very good tool for therapeutic purposes. You can see how it deals with people having obsessive thoughts, compulsive thoughts, hyper speaking, hyper thinking. I mean, Clubhouse is the ultimate psychological observational psych ward. You can listen to people just unravel and observe them in a safe space. Is that your painting, Icky? That looks dope. Yeah, I know you're doing some great art.
Oh yeah, that's a piece I'm trying to
Wow.
coin on. Yeah, thanks. It's actually rather dated. I was just fixing it up in order to get a good photo of it so I could promote selling postcards of it to people, which in a way is absurd. They're quite expensive, but I personalize messages for them. In any case, I was just writing to somebody about being, stoically bullheaded and not knowing what their inner world was, and despite the length of time that I knew them, but talking about like I know how to properly morally invert my approach to the world, and in this quick ability to morally invert things that seem to align with this idea of production of the wicked. And some, I was just, tangentially taking like surface level items that you were throwing out and saying, oh yeah, that seems like I'm touching tangents of what it is you're saying. But it was actually like a poetic history that I sent to an old friend who became an enemy, and then not so much an enemy, just somebody I no longer wanted to know. And in one way, then I speak about like a possible not revenge, but an avenging of his silent lips, the fact that he won't come and blather or babble or speak to the transgressions of the past, right? Or what were perceived transgressions by him, by me, by whomever that we knew in our little pool. And so I was going on at length, and I realized that even to speak or even to read a type of writing is so like personalized and narrow that the listener would only pick up some like peculiar allegory or analog through it. It shouldn't be cohesive to anybody else. If it's even cohesive to him, it should just be a more cohesive writing to him than it would be to a stranger, I would imagine. And I actually sent it out to a woman in Connecticut this morning and a woman local in the Rocky Mountains, and for proofreading. Thank you.
Hello, Moto.
Okay, Dr. Jordan, anything you want to read? Zach, Icky, anything else you want to read? Because I'm going to read one more thing. I'm going to read one or two more books.
On it. There was a time a year ago, Adrian, when I wanted to share this with you, and maybe I'll try to share it with you right now. This is a sonnet. It's called Wake Up or You Will Miss the Day. Wake up or you will miss the day. The sun is bleeding in the sea. The train is traveling away. So comfortably asleep you lay, dreaming what your life might be. Wake up or you will miss the day. And even if perchance you may imagine yourself flying free, the train is traveling away. Awake and join the fertile fray and dodge the villains nimbly. Wake up or you will miss the day. Dreaming you feel righteous and gay. You try to hide behind your sleep. The train is traveling away. Awake and with the virtue stay. That is how we all shall be. Wake up or you will miss the day. The train is traveling away.
That was very nice. Did you write that?
Yeah, long ago.
Well, record it and put it on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat.
Did actually already make a video of that. Long ago. You missed it? What?
Okay, I'm going to do a brief reading from Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. Without stirring abroad, one can know the whole world. Without looking out the window, one can see the way of heaven. The further one goes, the less one knows. Therefore, the sage knows without having to stir, identifies without having to see, accomplishes without having to act. In the pursuit of learning, one knows more every day. In the pursuit of the way, one does less every day. One does less and less until one does nothing at all. And when one does nothing at all, there is nothing that is undone. It is always through not meddling that the empire is won. Should you meddle, then you are not equal to the task of winning the empire. The sage has no mind of his own. He takes as his own the mind of the people. Those who are good I treat as good. Those who are not good I also treat as good. In so doing I gain in goodness. Those who are of good faith I have faith in. Those who are lacking in good faith I also have faith in. In so doing I gain in good faith. The sage, in his attempt to distract the mind of the empire, seeks urgently to muddle it. The people all have something to occupy their eyes and ears, and the sage treats them all like children. When going one way means life and going the other means death, 3 in 10 will be comrades of life. 3 in 10 will be comrades of death. And there are those who value life and as a result move into the realm of death, and these also number 3 in 10. Why is this so? Because they set too much store by life. I have heard it said that one who excels in safeguarding his own life does not meet with rhinoceros or tiger when traveling on land, nor is he touched by weapons when charging into an army. There is nowhere for the rhinoceros to pitch its horn, There is nowhere for the tiger to place its claws. There is nowhere for the weapon to lodge its blade. Why is this so? Because for him there is no realm of death. The way gives them life, virtue rears them, things give them shape, circumstances bring them to maturity. Therefore, the myriad creatures all revere the way and honor virtue. Yet the way is revered and virtue honored, not because this is decreed by any authority, but because it is natural for them to be treated so. Thus the way gives them life and rears them, brings them up and nurses them, brings them to fruition and maturity, feeds and shelters them. It gives them life, yet claims no possession. It benefits them, yet exacts no gratitude. It is the steward, yet exercises no authority. Such is called the mysterious virtue. The world had a beginning, and this beginning could be the mother of the world. When you know the mother, go on to know the child. After you have known the child, go back to holding fast to the mother. And to the end of your days you will not meet with danger. Block the openings, shut the doors, and all your life you will not run dry. Unblock the openings, add to your troubles, and to the end of your days you will be on salvation. To see the small is called discernment. To hold fast to the submissive is called strength. Use the light, but give up the discernment. Bring not misfortune upon yourself. This is known as following the constant. Were I possessed of the least knowledge, I would, when walking on the great way, fear only paths that lead astray. The great way is easy, yet people prefer bypaths. The court is corrupt, the fields are overgrown with weeds, the granaries are empty, yet there are those dressed in fineries, with swords at their sides, filled with food and drink, and possessed of too much wealth. This is known as taking the lead in robbery. Far indeed is this from the way. What is firmly rooted cannot be pulled out. What is tightly held in the arms will not slip loose. Though this, the offering of sacrifice by descendants, will never come to an end. Cultivate it in your person, and its virtue will be genuine. Cultivate it in the family, and its virtue will be more than sufficient. Cultivate it in the hamlet, and its virtue will endure. Cultivate it in the state, and its virtue will abound. Cultivate it in the empire, and its virtue will be pervasive. Hence look at the person through the person. Look at the family through the family. Look at the hamlet through the hamlet. Look at the state through the state. Look at the empire through the empire. How do I know that the empire is like that? By means of this. One who possesses virtue in abundance is comparable to a newborn babe. Poisonous insects will not sting it. Ferocious animals will not pounce on it. Predatory birds will not swoop down on it. Its bones are weak and its sinews supple, yet its hold is firm. It does not know of the union of male and female, yet its male member will stir. This is because its virility is at its height. It howls all day, yet does not become hoarse. This is because its harmony is at its height. To know harmony is called the constant. To know the constant is called discernment. To try to add to one's vitality is called ill-omened. For the mind to egg on the breath is called violent. A creature in its prime doing harm to the old is known as going against the way. That which goes against the way will come to an early end. One who knows does not speak. One who speaks does not know. Block the openings, shut the doors, blunt the sharpness, untangle the knots, soften the glare. Let your wheels move only along old ruts. This is known as mysterious sameness. Hence you cannot get close to it. nor can you keep it at arm's length. You cannot bestow benefit on it, nor can you do it harm. You cannot ennoble it, nor can you debase it. Therefore it is valued by the empire. Govern the state by being straightforward, wage war by being crafty, but win the empire by not being meddlesome. How do I know that it is like that? By means of this. The more taboos there are in the empire, the poorer the people. The more sharpened tools the people have, the more benighted the state. The more skills the people have, the further novelties multiply. The better known the laws and edicts, the more thieves and robbers there are. Hence the sage says, I take no action, and the people are transformed of themselves. I prefer stillness, and the people are rectified of themselves. I am not meddlesome, and the people prosper of themselves. I am free from desire, and the people of themselves become simple, like the uncarved block. Okay, this is the last verse I'll read. When the government is muddled, the people are simple. When the government is alert, the people are cunning. It is on disaster that good fortune perches. It is beneath good fortune that disaster crouches. Who knows the limit? Does not the straightforward exist? The straightforward changes again into the crafty, and the good changes again into the monstrous. Indeed, it is long since the people were perplexed. Therefore the sage is square-edged, but does not scrape, has corners, but does not jab, extends himself, but not at the expense of others, shines, but does not dazzle. Okay, that's a brief reading from Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching.
Excellent. I appreciate these.
Yeah, thanks. If you like hear any buzzwords, I would like kind of take note of it and then maybe throw it into a chat GPT and then try to create like some kind of image out of Grok or Copilot. I absolutely love taking symbolism and putting it into AI image generators and seeing what comes out. And Grok on X is just incredible. That my PTR is made by Grok. Okay, anybody else want to read anything?
Yeah, I will read some of that. Do you want to take these real quick first? Give me a few minutes. Give me a minute. If you put any of those titles in the chat, that'd be great.
Okay, after you finish your reading, if nobody else wants to read anything, I'll read briefly from Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. And if anybody in the audience wants to come up and read anything.
Or one more from Pages Against the Machine.
Go for it, Doctor.
Well, I didn't make the table of. Oh, there it is. I didn't make the table of contents alphabetical. All right. This is called Born to Purpose. Once, I'm going to try that again. Once, we were born to purpose. Significance as balloons bestowed upon us by our forebears. You are a gardener. You are a hunter. You are a healer.
You are a shaman. Now we fumble with ourselves like a wet match, hoping for a spark, hungry for a dream, even if it belongs to somebody else. Framed wisdom from a fortune cookie will never clue me in as to who I am. Stripped want for meaning. I am a grass leaf. I am a sand grain. I am a flower. I am a drop of water. I am a person, and we are not here to be recognized, but to recognize why we are needed. Information we have long forgotten how to divine, but I must remain passionately confident we can figure out, or else.
Good solid ending. Okay, let me keep this open for just a moment, and then I'll begin. If you don't mind, maybe it's too lengthy, but maybe not. And pause me if you bore. I both apologize as I can't know the details of your private life. I'm my own fucked up guy with what I got. And I have to admit that I was looking for complimentative closures from the people who steered me wrong, knowingly or unknowingly. And I've steered several people wrong myself. But because you are knowledgeable and can state words, but refuse to speak your piece, you can do what you have always done, as I'm sure you will, and refuse to wrap your moral history around in words. Especially since you once were open to disclosure, and I, at the time, being your good friend, could not babble and share and expose your childhood folly. Yet I am happy you found your life and home where you have, and how you have, as self-protective as you could. Me, though, having a very precarious approach to betting on a life of the arts, could not afford a misstep, but I didn't have a ground to regroup upon. I made my choices up until allowing a moral issue of another to become mine, and choosing a misdirected halfway you issue over my career. Well, you somehow thought, as you dared to text, that was 17 years ago. You've had plenty of time to fix that. You years prior said, a man should be able to decide the summation of his own life. I paraphrase, of course. And so, as if I see it, your moral self-inclusive moral code constrained against your internal workaround, which you are too selectively in avoidance of. Language is public, it's distributive, it's distributed. Well, my life has been in public, and I speak my internal transgressions and note my story. And my story, minus your contemporary input, is that you think that 19-year foundations can collapse and be rebuilt. You believe time can go backwards, that there is a refund for your life. It was a hard lesson to lead my diversion away from what cannot be reapproached, and I ate the loss and became a proud street artist, missing all the metrics of making a good money, the kind of money that allows a woman to want children without abandon. So many single moms. And who knows all the confusion your bullheaded being has actually gone through. And you didn't know what your affect nor effect would be upon others. I learned the subtle art of ignoring others' perceived notions that people, strangers, or friends should deserve an explanation from me about any perceived abuse. And I delivered verbal abuse to no end. and I distribute biological pain to many when. But for all things a person has to go through to come to peace with their present, I have been self-humbled. Perhaps what you put yourself through by joining the military at about the same time I was leaping off a roof. Mine is a culmination of reproductive financial shortcomings, where retracement of causal events lead back to your unarticulated or half-articulated diversion, moral diversion that I had in mind, because I did care about others and love and life, such as to give up mine for others. But as you, Indian, gived, I had to Indian give, a proper pejorative. And so you taught me how to ingress, effect, and exit, and deny the collateral damage. Now, though, when we are extra fully adult men, if in fact you consider you to be a man, your soul can't bear to trot out and roll out from your typing, text, or vocal cords anything to assist others, nor yourself, to go into your death with a full and expansive peace. Maybe you have a chronic pain. Excuse me. Maybe you have a chronic pain and confuse steel to copper. Pipe and funnel without filter, where appropriate particles of one's past go into their proper place, where they most honestly belong. And that will be what you have stoically baked into your self-accepting mosaic of self-forgiving past. So thanks for uprooting yourself from our lives and keeping your distance as a gift, because God forbid you pay for water's years, immature, drunk driving. You came to mine as I am preparing to not start a new needed romance. As my issues roll out, I realize are downstream, that historic split in my river, a river that I took half-heartedly against my own better self-interests, yet for the moral cause of your sister's case, her blood legacy. I only ever had my love of art and childhood of games to be the root. But you wouldn't know about my childhood gaming, how my married folks carefully raised us boys with games. I have played 3 video games in 20 years because I couldn't bear the loss I let myself give up for another's life. I went mad due to that choice. It bears out even today. Dileotheistic, paraconsistent logics and argumentation, non-definitive wave motions of mutable positionings, having to backhandedly land upon an exclusive binary side. I'm wiser and even more Jewish in my temperament and dialogues. But now I'm less grounded while being grounded. As AI art distributes and makes a premium or obsolescence out of my diminutive being,